All right, what's up, Turtle Riders? How we all doing out there tonight? Good? Excellent. All right, welcome to the Turtle Boy Live Show, guys. I have gone ahead and I've shared the link to this on the Clarence Woods Emerson Facebook page, which you should all be following by now, as well as the Turtleboy Sports Facebook page. Not the Turtleboy Sports Forever one. I know it's confusing. We got so many pages, but it's the Turtleboy Sports page. I'm also going to go ahead and I'm sharing it on Twitter right now. Been on there for like over 3 months now. New record. So I'm at Real Uncle TB. Follow me on Twitter at Real Uncle TB. Okie dokie. So welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a good episode. I can feel it already. I'm going to go ahead right now and share the link to the donos. If you guys would like to donate to the Turtle Boy Fund or whatever, there's a link right there. If you leave a comment, I'm going to read it out loud no matter what. The show is brought to you by Turtle Riders. Thanks to you guys, we can pretty much put up whatever content we want, and they can't try to go after our advertisers or anything like that. So we beat them. We won. Yay. Go free speech. Okie dokie. So before we get into the really crazy stuff that we're going to talk about tonight, first thing I'm going to do, so Election Day is coming up on Monday. And it's primary election day. And there's actually a lot of really important races going on in the state. And the defund the police thing is obviously the big political issue. I had a couple women who were running for state rep in various parts of Massachusetts, one out of Taunton, the other out of Duxbury a few weeks ago. But they were both Republicans challenging existing or incumbent Democrats. So those seats don't happen. Those races don't happen until November. The primary obviously happens within your own party. So like the big one obviously is Joe Kennedy versus Ed Markey, who, by the way, let me just point this out. Joe Kennedy was winning in the polls for a long time. And then I dropped the Monica Cannon Grant story. He is plummeting. He's down 15 points in some polls. So it looks like Ice Cream Ed's going to win that. I think he's pretty safe at this point. So we also have Shiva, if you take the Republican ballot, versus Kevin O'Connor in the Senate. But you also have a lot of some state rep and state Senate elections, and it's really rare to see an incumbent Democrat challenged within their own party. But that's who we're going to have on tonight. We are having on a guy named Jack I don't want to mispronounce it. If it's Lally, I'm going to bring him on right now. We'll ask him right now. This is Jack. How you doing, Jack?
Hi, good. How are you?
Good, thank you. Did I pronounce, is it Lally or Lally?
Yeah,
or?
Lally, yeah. As long as you
Lally, okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Jack is challenging one of the most written about state representatives in Massachusetts out of Brockton, East Bridgewater, and West Bridgewater, and that would be Michelle Dubois. And real quick, just an array, for those of you unfamiliar with Michelle Dubois, you must be new here if you're unfamiliar with her. But I'll show you real quick some of the more famous blogs she's been written in. Let's see. It started off in 2017. There was an incident in which she announced to the world that ICE was doing a raid in Brockton and basically told drug dealers that it was probably best to not answer the door when ICE comes. Then after that, she attempted to get a restraining order. I swear to God, she attempted to get a restraining order from the press because they said she was being mean to her. The next year, she made a big hullabaloo because there's an entrance at the State House. Are you familiar with this, Jack? The Thomas Hooker entrance?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you might enter through that door. Now, Thomas Hooker is a famous Union general, helped to free the slaves, good guy. But apparently she thought that was too immature, and she wanted it changed. We've also written about her. There was incidents. She's always up to something. So she needs a good challenger, and I'm happy to see she's being challenged from the left, which is great. And Jack's that guy. And Jack is taking a lot of shit from her. And why don't you tell me about your campaign, Jack?
Well, we're just trying to just trying to bring some balance back to the district.
And you are. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. No. The priorities really are communication, infrastructure, and public safety. Education too, but public safety. So it's we've got a lot of roads. The district covers the east side of Brockton, and then all of West Bridgewater, and part of East Bridgewater.
Yep.
And especially on the east side of Brockton, we've got some really bad roads and pipes underneath, just terrible shape.
And
installed in the 1960s and never touched again.
Just to be clear, Jack's a city councilor in Brockton. You're 23 years old, and you were elected to the city council at the age of 18.
Yeah, I was. I got 60% of the vote. I was reelected in 2017 with 70%, and then reelected last year with 80%. So an incumbent adding points to that is a good sign in terms of effectiveness.
All right. So tell me, why are you challenging Michelle Dubois?
It's really we just don't have the representation that we need. Calls aren't returned, emails aren't answered. A lot of people, maybe be blocked on social media and things like that. And on a very simple basis, the district is nobody's bringing home the bacon. We're not getting help that we need.
I think the big issue on most people's minds this election is the police and defunding the police. And it seems like I was reading an article in the Enterprise the other day, and you're not in favor of defunding the police, correct?
No, I'm not.
Okay. How come?
Well, you see, we live in Massachusetts, and what a lot of these national movements are that want to change the police are all about. They're pushing all these things they want police departments to do. Massachusetts already does most of them. Massachusetts already does psychological evaluations and things like before we have officers. You can be a that's and then go on to be a police officer anywhere else. Some other places in the country, if you're a cop there, if you're a cop in Arkansas and you want to be a cop in Massachusetts, we're going to make you go through the whole academy again.
Okay.
So when Brockton was handed some people handed Brockton a list, and they said, well, this is what we want the police department to do. The chief of police looked at it, and we already did everything on the list.
Yeah.
Brockton's police department, Massachusetts has the best cops going, and Brockton's police department is in the state. It has the distinction of being the closest to matching the community it serves demographically.
How about that?
So we're in a really good place. We're in a really good position. And my whole thing is, you've given us a checklist. You've given us requirements that you want to see the police department fulfill. The police department fulfills them. And now you want us to punish the model department that you wanted by taking the money away. Like that we can't do that. We're already understaffed as it is. So, you asked for, you gave us a list. We comply with that list. Why would we punish the department for compliance?
So, yeah, I mean, I think the big thing is that the objection cops around here have is that they're being blamed for what happened in Minnesota.
Yeah.
And that seems patently unfair. It seems like Michelle Dubois is kind of on the opposite side of that.
Yeah, she's taken a weird line on it. She continuously talks about, her support for the police, but her voting behavior does not match that.
Have the police endorsed you?
I've been endorsed by the West Bridgewater Patrolmen's Association, the Brockton Patrolmen's Association, the Massachusetts Correctional Officers Union, and I'm the first candidate ever in their history to be endorsed by the Brockton Police Supervisors Union.
That's pretty impressive. I mean, that's 2 out of the 3 places you're representing. They're endorsing you. And that's pretty crazy that a lot of city councilors I saw have gone behind a 23-year-old. That's pretty rare.
Yeah. Well, it's about, I've met, and I'm sure you've met, and whoever's watching has met, all kinds of people, young and old, who are just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Old people act like children as much as children do. Pretty mature people at a young age. So really it's about, it doesn't matter how old they are. It matters, what they're saying and what they're doing.
I got to be honest with you. You don't seem like a politician. You're very quiet. Your voice is like soft. How do you get people fired up?
Well, I'm just trying not to shout right now.
Okay. Are you like this when you give speeches?
I've got the phone a little ways away. I can be loud when I need to.
Okay.
It's I'm not here to put on a show. I'm here to do something. I'm here to get it done.
Yeah.
The average city councilor in Brockton paves one road per year in their ward. I have paved 10 roads in 4 years. I'm on pace to do 12 in 5.
Pave them roads. Yeah,
It's about
absolutely.
working with people and just getting it done. So it's, what matters is at the end of the day, you've done what you set out to do. Because people aren't stupid. They're going to figure out, you don't have to tell them all that you did it. They're going to figure it out.
Now, Michelle Dubois called you a Republican. Is that correct?
She has.
Why?
I don't really know.
Were you ever one?
My parents used to be Republicans. I was never one. I was unenrolled.
Okay.
I was never a Republican. I pulled a Republican ballot in 2016.
How come?
There were more candidates. It was a more aggressive race. I think everybody knew who was going to win in 2016
for president.
Yeah.
Well, actually it's the opposite. Believe it or not, I'm an independent too. I pulled the Democratic ballot because Bernie against Hillary was actually supposed to be very close in the state, and Trump was forecasted to win by a lot, and he did in Massachusetts. Who can I ask who you voted for?
I was Kasich. I had the opportunity to meet him. And,
okay, all right.
I just like the middle of the road kind of thing.
You seem like a Kasich guy.
I don't know if that's an insult or a compliment, but
I mean, you talk like him. You look like a young Kasich a little bit. I don't know. I have my issues with him, but it's okay. Anything's better than Michelle Dubois.
It was just trying to find some balance.
Yeah.
Because it's the answer's somewhere in the middle. It's not I'm right, you're wrong. It's not anything like that. And I liked being unenrolled because I was able to pull whatever ballot I felt the need to.
Yeah.
And I enjoy where I am now. I've got, I'm not blinking help me from the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
But it had the unenrolled had its perks.
Yeah, well, I think what your district needs more than anything is just somebody who's not an embarrassment. I mean, or for me to not, like, I couldn't name most representatives in the state. If you picked a random town, I couldn't tell you who it is. Michelle Dubois is arguably the most famous state representative, and it's not for good reasons. It's always because she's in the news for something ridiculous.
It's not helping us. Yeah, so I had the opportunity to speak to a representative who was out in the Berkshires, and there's plenty of representatives out there. If you said, oh, quick, who's the, you throw out a district at me, I'm probably not going to get the name of them.
Mm-hmm.
You give me 10 years and I probably might not get the name of them. But this representative said, oh, you're running for state representative. Where are you running? And I said the 10th Plymouth, and he knew right away where I was referring.
The Ice Ladies district.
It's about effectiveness, and it's about working with the other elected officials.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I have complete confidence. I think you're going to win, to be perfectly honest with you. I think the fact that all these people, powerful, legitimate people, are backing you up tells them that you're a serious candidate. And I think that she needed to push more from the Democrats than she did from the Republicans, simply because it is a blue district. It's unlikely to go red. And if it was going to change, it had to be another Democrat to do so. So my last question for you is her biggest, or one of her attacks on you has been that you live at home with your parents. When are you moving out? When are you moving out?
I'm running on fiscal responsibility, so what are you gonna do? No, I'll move out when the market calms down. Honestly.
What do you do for work?
Right now I'm at Bridgewater State. I'm still a student.
Are you still a student?
I took a 4-year. I took the 4-year program. I did it with 5. Strike to accommodate everything with the council.
How the hell did you balance like being a student and going to city council meetings and stuff?
I did all my classes in the morning.
Oh, you didn't have the traditional college lifestyle of,
No.
Not you're a serious adult.
I mean, college student plus politician. You'd think thered be a mess in there somewhere, but no, I just commuted. I went to class. I came home, did whatever work I had to do, and then did my job.
You and I were very different. when I was your age. I'll tell you that much right now. But that's good. No, it's a good thing. You're better in a good way. Like you're not going to get in trouble, and you're going places, man.
Got their own path.
Yeah. Well, hey, I appreciate you joining us. I'm sure you're very busy. I'll let you get back to that knocking on doors. If you live in the district, guys, pull a Democratic ballot on Tuesday, September 1st. Vote for Jack Lally. Anything else you want to add?
Well, especially in this district, you've basically got the election September 1st. You have Senate, you've got Congress, you have state Senate, you have state representative, and you've got county commissioner. The entire ballot is on a primary.
Yeah.
If it's not for me, you've got a whole bunch of other options.
Yeah.
If anyone has any questions, I've got a website, it's jacklally.org. They can reach out with questions or anything if they're in the district and they want to know something. The communication's the name of the game. I think it's the biggest difference. I think it's the thing I'm highlighting the most. So all I ask is for people's consideration, and I hope to see him September 1st.
Absolutely. I hope you don't get in trouble for coming on here with Michelle. She's not a fan. So
no, I'll talk to whoever. That's part of the communication.
That's what I like to hear right there. That's what I like to hear. Jack, have a good night, man. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks.
Bye. All right. So, tell you one thing. I wasn't like that when I was his age. That kid's mature as hell. I'll tell you. Jesus Christ. I couldn't imagine going to college and then like having any time at all to be a city councilor of one of the bigger cities in Massachusetts. I mean, that's hope right there. I mean, realistically, guys, in some districts, Republicans cannot win. They can't do it. It's impossible. Like you're not going to get a Republican congressman in some of these districts. It's just not going to happen. But you could get a Democrat who's like a sane Democrat. There are people out there like that. And that's clearly what Jack is. So vote for Jack. All right, so there's my pitch. All right, so let's talk about what y'all came here to watch tonight. I just wanted to have Jack on because he's got the election Tuesday. And that is last couple of days in court. So I took notes here about three things we're going to talk about today. All right, we're going to talk about the Bristol Blarney thing, the Marc Aldana thing, and the Hadassah Rose thing. Okay. And before we do that, let me just go ahead. Oh, I think let me refresh the donos. If we got any donos here. Okay. We got a couple donos I got to read out. Let's see. This episode is brought to you by Melania Trump, who says, for your champagne fund with love from me and Donald. Oh, thank you very much. From Marcy McDowell. You can have this donation if you tell me where Kareen. Oh no, that was from the other day. Okay. So there we go. So thank you, Melania. Okie dokie. Let's start with Hadassah Rose, my old nemesis. It's been over a year since I wrote those series of blogs about Hadassah, and she's crazy as ever. Like this is the third time now she's filed something against me. The first time happened around this time last year. Actually, I think it was like August 20. It's like almost to the day. I think it was like August 26th. She filed for a harassment order against me after I wrote a series of blogs exposing the horrid conditions in the Gan Rivka Center, as well as the Punishment Cafe, the restaurant that nobody goes to, that is basically propped up by the rent money that she extorts from vulnerable women and the mentally disabled woman who lives with her, and she takes her Social Security money. That it was over a year ago that I wrote about this, and she said that I was harassing her, which I was not. I was writing a story about what was happening there because it needed to be exposed. And a lot of you turtle riders came down for our day in court in Milford, and you saw the show that Hadassah puts on. You saw what she does there, where she stood there. Your Honor, I'm really nervous right now. Oh my God. So you saw that. You saw that I won. We got in a little trouble there because some people clapped. That's frowned upon in courtrooms. It's not a freaking football game. You're not supposed to clap, but it's okay. You got a little excited. And so I won that one. 6 months later, she files two more against me. Luckily, one of them was pushed off because of COVID, but the first one was a criminal complaint. No, was it a criminal? Yeah, it was another criminal complaint for, I think it was harassment. I don't even know what it was for. Something absurd. And she claimed that I was stalking her and claimed that I came to her house and she had evidence of my car being there. And the evidence that she provided in the courtroom was a picture of my license plate zoomed in, which she likely took the last time we were in court together. There was no context to it. It was just a picture of my license plate. She put it on one of her shows. Her daughter was there, etc. I won that one. So that what a criminal complaint is, if you go to the cops and you want someone arrested for something and they choose not to arrest because they don't think there's enough probable cause, you can file a criminal complaint on your own. And if you can prove that there is probable cause to make an arrest or have a guilty verdict or whatever, there's evidence, and you make that case to a magistrate, which is like a bootleg judge, and you make the case to them, and if they're convinced that there is a large amount of evidence here, then they can send it to a judge. Okay. And charges can be filed against you that way. But if the police aren't willing to charge you, you have a 1 in 1,000 chance of getting that done, because there's a reason the police didn't charge you. You need to be better at the job than the police are, essentially, to show a magistrate why charges should be taken out against such an individual. So that the second one I had with Hadassah was a criminal complaint. Today, this one was scheduled for early in March, but that got pushed off, obviously, because of COVID, and finally had today. This one was for wiretapping. Okay. And it's funny Bristol Blarney would mention wiretapping, because she was big into this. Hadassah's going to get you for wiretapping. Hadassah's going to get you for wiretapping. I swear to God, they've been conspiring the whole time. I swear to God. I know they've been talking. I have proof of that. But Hadassa brings me in there today. And not only here, I don't know if you guys remember this. In August of last year, I played a video on YouTube of Hadassa answering questions. Like, she was talking to somebody on the phone and she said all this really incriminating stuff on a phone call or an interview, whatever. I don't know. It was sent to me anonymously. So I rebroadcast it. I put it out there, and I take the clips. It was like a 45-minute tape. I just took some of the clips and some of the highlights and threw it together, and I put it on there. And it's my facial reactions to her ridiculousness. Some of you may have seen it before. Well, for some reason, over a year later now, she wants to get me for wiretapping, because I did not obviously tape that conversation. I wasn't on the phone with her. I don't talk to Hadassah, but she's saying that I conspired with the person who taped it. And she claims that the woman named Chrissy who taped it works for me, which is just patently untrue. She does not work for me at all. And I had no idea when it was sent to me that it was secretly recorded. I got a tape sent to me with Hadassah Rose on it. I'm gonna play that shit, period. So I get it sent to me and I play it. And Hadassah goes after this woman, Chrissy. And for whatever reason, the Milford police are taking that seriously, and they're charging this woman with wiretapping. And I don't know why they're wasting their time with this shit. It's a travesty that the Milford police would waste their time going after someone for wiretapping. Hadassah Rose, of all people. That they should be going after Hadassah Rose for what she's doing in that house to those women. And now she wants to go after me. So she goes to the Milford police and she's like, she works for him and blah, 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 blah. And I read the affidavit, and it said specifically that the Milford police said there's no evidence of this. We can't charge. There's no evidence that he got the tape from you, that he recorded this. That's what we need. Okay. If we're going to charge him with wiretapping. Of course, that never happened. So whatever. So we're in court today, and Hadassah is there. And with her, behind her, in a suit and a mask, was Vladimir. I finally got to see a Vladimir. Remember Vladimir? The emotionally abused Russian guy who is her husband when she's not scissoring with other women. Oh, what a wild chick this is. So anyway, we're in there, and I've taken some notes about what's happening here. I'm going to get the tape for this too, believe me. But basically my argument was, this is the third time she's done this. I'm a journalist. I report on what I see. I went to her house. she invited me there. She invited me to the punishment cafe. I tape what I see. It's clear that I'm taping her because the phone is up there. She knows it's taping, etc. And Hadassah throughout this entire 30-minute ordeal today was just in rare form, crying and shaking uncontrollably whenever it's not going her way. That's usually what she does to add dramatic effect to it. She's like, and she's got all the stack of paperwork. She's going, I have so much evidence against Aidan and Chrissy. And then she starts going off on tangents. And the only thing the magistrate wants to see from her is one thing. Where is the evidence that he secretly recorded you? I can't charge him with wiretapping if you don't have evidence that he secretly recorded a phone call with you. Your Honor, well, Chrissy works for him, and they colluded together, and she said it to him, and he made it sound like they were doing an interview, but it really wasn't an interview. And he came to the punishment cafe, and he was asking so many questions. And he took pictures of my bank statements, and he puts it on this Turtleboy blog. And the Turtleboy blog is so mean. And on the blog, and so the guy interrupts her like 3 times, and he says, I quoted him, he goes, this is an the allegation is not all of these collateral issues that you're bringing up. Okay. The only thing I'm concerned with is how you are establishing that he recorded you. He kept having to redirect her, and she would just go off on these tangents about Turtleboy, just rant about the blog. And I feed homeless girls, and he sucked the police on me, and I'm getting death threats in the mob. And she's like bringing out all these messages and that she's printed out. Like, it was wild. It was absolutely wild. And she goes, my life is destroyed. And she goes, oh, and he posted my information on there. And he's like, what does posting the information have to do with wiretapping? Well, he's being charged with doxing. Ma'am, you didn't file a criminal complaint for doxing. You wrote that in the affidavit. There's not a criminal complaint for doxing. What are you talking about? And then she goes off on this tangent about how I wrote about her scissoring. Yeah, because if you remember, there was a woman who made an allegation that she was essentially Hadassah's like sex slave there, and wild shit. Like Hadassah's well known to, I mean, let's be honest. I don't know what she's doing with Vladimir. If she's using him for I don't know what she gets out of that relationship besides like a slave, essentially, a guy who will do whatever. And Vladimir did speak. They asked Vladimir to speak, and they asked him, this is what he says. Do you have anything to say? Yes. I in kitchen when she talking to a Turtleboy on phone, and to Chrissy on phone, and she say, I hope I'm no being recorded. And Hadassa's staring him down the whole time, like making sure he says the right thing, like fucking grilling him. That guy says the wrong thing. It's not pretty. It's not, like a complete psychopath. The fact that this woman's even being humored. Now, my other 2 criminal complaints I had with her, the judge seemed to listen to her, right? And was interested. This magistrate, who she kept calling Your Honor, had no interest whatsoever. She goes, he told people I made a woman my sex slave. That's actually in the transcripts you're going to see. I've had my whole life ripped apart for a year. Finally, the magistrate just tells a lady, I don't see anything even remotely coming close to a criminal complaint here for wiretapping. So it's denied. And she did not like that answer very much. She freaked out. She started crying, breaking down. But you didn't even look at it. You didn't even look at the paperwork. Blah, blah, blah. The magistrate walked out in protest. And then the guy comes over, gets her, the bailiff came over and is like, man, you need to leave. So he starts packing all his shit up with Vladimir, but they don't go out. They go to the clerk's office, which means they're going to file some other shit. And that probably didn't go the way she wanted, because I go out in the parking lot and I see a couple turtle riders out there and I'm talking to them. And next thing, I didn't want to be anywhere near, Hadassah. I didn't want to interact with her or whatever. I just want to, because I don't want to give her something to, lie about or whatever. But I'm talking to these turtle riders, and next thing you know, Vladimir is driving along and they stop right where we are, like a couple rows away. And we look over, Hadassa's in the passenger seat with her phone recording us talking. I swear to God. We all waved and shit. But then I kept I'm like, oh, I don't know what this fucking woman's got up her sleeve. I guarantee, unfortunately, that's probably not the last time I'm going to see Hadassa Rose again. And it's just pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic. So that's crazy person number one. Crazy person number two is Marc Aldana. And a lot of you people don't know who this winner is. So let me bring up the blog on him real quick. Okay. There it is right there. You see that? Okie dokie. So background of this one, about 3.5 years ago, my old blogger, Feisty Turtle Lady, who really only was with us for a few months, Feisty wrote a blog about this guy right here named Marc Aldana. He lives in my town of Holden, and he had been arrested for a home invasion in Worcester, in the West Haddon part of Worcester. During the home invasion, the homeowner who sold some pot and had a gun safe in the basement. And this guy, I did not see this one coming. I'm not gonna lie. When I saw the picture of him, like, this is them right there. That is not what these are the people. These are the pot dealers that got robbed. So I guess they fucked up the count or something somehow, and they owed some money. And Marc Aldana is the guy who comes when you owe money, and he's going to steal your shit and your guns and whatever. So they obviously knew about this guy's house. Marc Aldana goes in there, possibly with one or two other people, and they come home during the robbery. The girlfriend first sees him, and Aldana's got a gun to her head. And the boyfriend comes over. They go in the basement together, and he shoots Aldana in the leg. Aldana then shoots him, I want to say in the head. Not quite sure, but he shot him back. And Aldana is then bleeding out on the front steps by the time the police got there. Okay. The girl lived because she played dead through it all. It's a horrific, horrific thing. So Aldana lies. He says his name's Brian. They find out who he is. His bloody footprints are in the house. It was clearly him. And he's held on $500,000 cash bail. That's a serious freaking crime. $500,000 bail. So fast forward. It's now it was November 2019. This guy still hasn't been tried yet. There's been no trial. There's been nothing. Now, why is that? Well, let's see. Marc Aldana has been arrested lots of times. So, the Feisty did a great job chronicling them all. Amongst his Google trophies dating back till 2013, he was he's been arrested for dealing drugs. A party he hosted where somebody got stabbed. He was not arrested for that, but that's odd when that happens. Possession of bomb making materials. Now, he was found not guilty of that later on, but he was arrested and charged with that. Assault and battery with a dangerous weapon on a police officer, normal. Suspicion of armed robbery in Holden. Assault and battery with a dangerous weapon, a car. Larceny, breaking and entering, and resisting arrest. Okay. He had been at one point sentenced to 2 concurrent terms of 20 months in baby jail, the Worcester County House of Corrections. But it's just a mystery that this guy is never incarcerated. He's never he never goes to jail despite all of this stuff. Well, a lot of people send me emails. They're like, dude, that guy is the most notorious snitch in Worcester. Like, he is the most, everybody knows that he basically, he'll rob you, put a gun to your head. It's a low life, mid-level drug dealer, but he's also a snitch. And I'm like, how? Maybe it's just me. I've watched a lot of The Wire. It was my understanding that snitches get stitches, but apparently Marc Aldana does not. He's a cop caller. He's a little bitch, basically. And that's why he's out of jail, because he does all that stuff. So anyway, he sues me and Feisty Turtle. But of course, Feisty is anonymous. She doesn't write for us, so you can't sue her. So I'm just taking the brunt of it. So I'm getting sued for this. I got to hire counsel, and because it was a whatchamacallit, it was a corporation, but when he sued me, and this guy has tried. I mean, it seems they're not dropping the charges, because here he is trying to have the motion to dismiss it in September of 2018, and they don't, because he's such a violent offender. Like, no freaking way. So why aren't they charging him? It's a mystery. So he goes ahead and he's suing me. And the complaint that he's suing me for is just absurd. I don't know if you guys read this, but here's some things in here. The title said Marc Aldana, career criminal, and that this is defamatory because career criminal means you've been convicted 3 times of felony charges. So he's getting into the I'm not a career criminal. I only have 2 convictions for felonies. Yeah, I'm not a career criminal. I've just been arrested like lots of times for serious crimes, but I'm not a career criminal. Right. And she also claims that he was out on bail. That he was not out on bail when he was arrested for one of his other. It's all just minutia nonsense. This guy is doing it pro se, so it's free for him. He lives with his mom in Worcester on Salisbury Street. Not Worcester, in Holden on Salisbury Street. And he has like a cane and stuff like that because his ass got shot during the home invasion. And he's suing me because he's saying, here's a malicious intent, that she said that defendants state that plaintiff is a cockroach, a scumbag, and that he belongs in Maine South standing in front of a liquor store. Yeah. So this is all, I mean, he's saying all these things. And he's also saying that this let's see, what are his damages? Because you need damages when it comes down to this. What exactly are this guy's damages? He says that the defendants have damaged the plaintiff's reputation in the community. I would argue that all the arrests, Marc Aldana, might have had something to do with your reputation in the community, but that's just me. It says that he's been open to hatred, ridicule, and contempt, and again, might have to do with all of the shooting and the crime and the drug dealing. Maybe, I don't know. And he says that, I mean, you got to read this. As a direct result of the above described publication, Mr. Aldana sustained the following damages: personal injuries, pain and suffering, severe mental anguish, emotional distress, infliction of psychological harm, privacy, reputation, shame, mortification, humiliation, indignities, and embarrassment, degradation, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Personal fulfillment, family relations, friends, acquaintances, travel, enjoyment. So he can't travel as much anymore. The ankle bracelet also might have something to do with that. But he's got no damages, nothing. Okay. So I'm like, this is freaking ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So I see that he's got an ex-girlfriend who people are telling me, sources are telling me that know Aldana, that she was there on the day of the robbery. I have no way of proving that. So I want to ask her about it. Okay. They're saying that she was the getaway driver that day. So I message her because I want to pick her brain, and she denies. This is in November. She's like, I'm not with him anymore. We're not together anymore. I'm like, you're not? Okay. Okay. So then this goes in front of a judge for a motion to dismiss. And last week, the judge did not dismiss it. He dismissed 3 of the ridiculous counts, but he did not dismiss libel. It will eventually get dismissed, but now it's just going to cost more money. Okay. So it's all free for him. He doesn't give a shit. So here's what we did. Here's what me and my brilliant lawyer, Eddie O'Brien, did. Came up with a strategy here. because I'm not taking this shit anymore from you people. If you sue me, we are going to countersue for damages. I mean, for lawyer fees. That's what we're going to do, because you don't get to do this anymore. We're going to countersue each and every time for attorney's fees. And if you lose, because we won on SLAPP, SLAPP is a anti-SLAPP laws that we have in Massachusetts basically protect you from frivolous lawsuits. And the judge upheld our SLAPP argument in that this is essentially a frivolous lawsuit, but for whatever reason, libel's still going on. I don't know why. But when you get a positive SLAPP judgment, now you have really good grounds for lawyers' fees. So we ask for lawyers' fees from this guy, and we want, like right now it's only a couple $1,000. Okay. But that's going to grow. And Aldana, my lawyer tells him that this is a surprise to him. And he's like, I'm indignant. He's indignant. So he's like, basically he's saying that this cost me nothing. I'm just fucking around. This is free for me. But I don't have any money to pay. So once they realize that, oh shit, this can cost me money, that's when they start getting second ideas about this. So I contact the girlfriend again, because I go on her page, and what do I see? I see this picture in April on Easter. And there they are. They're all together. Aldana, her name is Carly Johnson. She lives in Northborough. She took part in the turtle boycott a couple years ago. And yeah, she's like, there they are. And they got their kids in there. Okay. Now I did not do this necessarily. Normally I'd blur out a kid's face, but not this time. No, not this time. Because if you sue me, you are trying to take food out of my children's mouth. Okay. It's an attack on my family. And when you do that, I will play at the playing field that you want me to play on. And now this woman is obviously trash. If you're dating Marc Aldana, you are a gutter muppet. I don't care if you live in Northborough and you're a blonde-haired, blue-eyed chick. Okay? You are trash if you date somebody like Marc Aldana. And, not only date him, get knocked up by him. He wants to move in with her. So she lied about that. She just didn't want to be mentioned in the blog because people were suspicious whether or not she was a getaway driver in this. So, I contact her again, and I'm like, looks like you guys are together. Well, let's talk about this. I'm like, I want to talk to her on the phone. Let's end this. Let's end the lawsuit. Let's talk. And she's like, are you trying to extort me? Are you trying to extort me? And finally she's like, don't talk to me anymore. And that's it. Okay. That's the way you want to play. That's the way you want to play. This picture didn't have to go up. I never once told her, I'm like, if you don't do this, then I'm going to put this picture up. Never said anything like that. You don't have to say anything like that. But just understand, like, if you don't, why should I, like, to me, this is evidence, because this man is dangerous. He should not be around children. He shoots people. He robs people. Okay. And people like that should not be around children. So that's why I showed the image, because it's important. So next thing you know, today I get an email from Marc Aldana. Guess what he wants to do? Guess what he was saying, guys? You'll never guess. Oh yeah. Because this is the email he sent me in November. He's like, he tries to sound so smart. He's like another Ryan Waters, a too-big criminal who uses big words, thinks he's smart. To which of the parties that a claim has been brought against in the Worcester Superior Court, Civil Court, in reference to docket number, whatever, does this correspondence represent? Oh, shut the fuck up, Aldana, you two-bit criminal. And he contacts me, and he wants to go away now. Okay? He wants to drop the lawsuit now. Why do you think that is? Why do you think that is? It's all fun and games, guys, to sue Turtle Boy until you realize that your ass can get sued too. That your ass can, and I will win because I have a lawyer and you're Marc Aldana. I'll win this. And when I win, we're going to get lawyer's fees. You're going to owe me that, and we're going to get it from you, period. So that's fun. And it's also fun and games until your girlfriend ends up on there. Then it's not so fun anymore. And I will do that to you. Okay. If you do this to me, if you sue me like this, over some bullshit, I'll throw your fucking wife up there. I don't care. I don't care. I'll throw your girlfriend up there. It doesn't mean shit to me. Because this woman, if your husband is, and that's why I threw Corinne Gaffney up there a bunch of times too, because she participated in it. If you are if I ever tried to pull a stunt like this, my wife would fucking kill me. She'd be like, "No, what are you doing? Oh, we're not doing this. Stop it. We have shit to do. What do you do? Why are you suing this guy and it's going nowhere? Why are you wasting your time on this? Stop. That's what a respectful woman would do. This woman's trash. She deserved to be outed. And it's all fun and games until your girlfriend ends up on Turtle Boy. Then it ain't fun no more. I guarantee you that she called to contact her like, look at the picture up there. Look what you're doing. Cut the fucking shit. I bet you a phone call like that happened. So live and learn, Marc Aldana. We'll see what happens with that. Stay tuned. I anticipate it going away. Okay, now the third story, the Bristol Blarney one. Let's talk about this one. So yesterday, Bristol Blarney announces that, and by the way, let me just refresh the donos here. All right, let me read off. This episode is brought to you by fucking Ralph, who says, thanks for all you do. Golf is going to be the shit. Yes, I look forward to seeing you there, fucking Ralph. 7 Pounder says, I want you to destroy Gaffney so many times in court. It will affect his business. What business? What business does Gaffney have? He doesn't have a fucking, what business? And Kareem will have to downsize to a C cup. Ooh, yeah, take some of the silicone back. Do they do refunds? Lauren F. No comment, but thank you, Lauren. KB says, for all your trolls in here tonight. Oh, we have some trolls. It's great. I love trolls. Richard Bridges says, Trump sucks. Biden sucks. Uncle Brett 2020. Okay. I'm not going to undermine Trump, but okay, maybe. So yesterday, Bristol Blarney announces on it. Now, I don't watch this. People just always tell me about it. And then I'll go and watch, obviously. She alleged that I was being charged with a felony, wiretapping. Sound familiar? And it all stemmed from this video in which a turtle rider named Kate Batista and old turtle rider Ashley Azevedo, they did a live stream together, and they basically debated the merits of various Turtle Boy things. I wouldn't watch it personally if I were you guys. It's just it's two chicks arguing, and Ashley cannot. She's so stupid. It's like arguing with a brick wall. But whatever. They're doing it. And when this happens, okay, you get invited. When this happens, they stream it on something called StreamYard, which I'm using now. Everybody's using StreamYard. And I'll show you what happens with StreamYard right now. I'm going to go ahead and put the link in. If anybody wants to come on, okay, I'll show you what happens here. I'm going to put the link right there. Anybody who wants to click on it can click on that link, and you'll see what happens when you do that. What will happen is you will be taken. I will see you. You'll appear below me on from what I see on my screen. I will see you below me, and it will say, I'll see your picture. I'll see your name. And if you have a camera you're using, I will see your image. And I can have an option to add you to the live stream if I want to, or take you out if I so choose. And so here's Lynn. So so Lynn is in the comments. I'm just going to bring Lynn. Watch this. See, I've brought Lynn in. Hi, Lynn.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So you saw what happens backstage, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
You have to put your stuff in.
And you can hear me when I'm doing it, right?
I can hear you and I can see you, but I'm not trying. My camera's on, but it's dark in my room.
Right. You don't need camera. So, but my point is that you can watch it, and I see you, and you see me, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. I'm gonna drop you now. Thank you. So then I can bye. So I can remove her like that too. So that it's that simple. So I get sent the stream for this, and by Kate Batista, she sends me the stream. So I click on it, and I'm actually in there before Kate Batista. So Ashley's on there, and she brings me in just like I brought Lynn in. She just brings me in, and it's a little awkward because I don't get along with Ashley. I see Peter in this. I'm not going to bring you in, Peter, but hi, Peter. Can you see me? He sees me. He's waving at me. Okay. So Peter's in there. You can hear me, all that shit. And Ashley accidentally, or I don't know if it was accidentally, she clicked on me. She added me. And it got a little awkward because it's like me and her. We were not streaming yet. And I'm like, oh, why are you bringing me in? I'm just here to watch. I told her, I'm just here to watch. Okay. She's like, what the fuck are you doing here? I'm like, I don't want to talk to you. I'm just here to watch. That's it. So she puts me, like I did with Lynn, back in the, whatchamacallit, the backstage. Put me back in the backstage. So I'm watching the whole stream between Ashley and Kate Batista. And they're going back and forth. They're doing their thing. And I'm just sitting there eating my popcorn. And next thing you know, the stream ends, I guess. Okay. I wasn't watching on YouTube, so I don't know when the stream is over. It's still going. If you're on here, it's always going. Like if I end the stream and you're backstage, you're still watching the stream. It's still streaming for you. This place is called StreamYard. You're still streaming. So I'm watching. Like everybody who's in the backstage is watching. It's well known. Throughout the episode, Ashley acknowledged me several times. Turtleboy's in the comments. Turtleboy's watching. She knew I was there. She brought me in earlier. She put me in the freaking backstage. She knew goddamn well I was there. So Kate Batista bounces, and I'm just sitting there. Well, I feel like for like a minute, Ashley was fucking like picking her teeth and picking her nose and stuff like that. And next thing you know, Kate Peter gets added in. And let's see what happens here. That's that right there. That's like the you're backstage. That's what you see. And Kate Peter gets added in, and you see how like Turtleboy, like you're backstage here. Other people were below that. A bunch of people were backstage. There's like 5 or 6 Turtle Riders in there watching it because Kate Batista shared the link with a bunch of people. A lot of us were watching it. And when it ended, a bunch of us were still in there watching it. And we saw Bristol Blarney. I played this the other day on the show. I mean, that is one of the worst things I've ever heard. And that's why they're trying to go after me because they know how horrible that is. Kate mocked a woman whose father killed himself in front of her when she was 5 years old, obviously suffering from mental illness. Awful, awful thing for a kid to see. Traumatic. And Kate is saying that your dad, we're going to talk about parents. Your dad is awful because he left you for good, lady. And Ashley laughs. He's never coming home. And she's laughing. Terrible. I mean, Ashley just wants my kids can find me somewhere because I'm not buried 8 feet under the ground. I mean, think of what a ratchet low expectation thing that is to say that my kids, well, you know, I lost 2 kids to the state, but you know, if they want to come see me, they can. If they want to come see me, they can. Okay. I don't know if her real parents, Kate is often refers to them as her kids. They're not her kids anymore. Like they have new parents. They have real parents now who care for them. And they're the lucky ones, obviously. The 2 younger ones, it was not a noble act for her to give them up because it was against her will. She wanted to keep them and ruin them, but the state wouldn't allow it, luckily, and they took them away from her. So these 2 were just, doing their thing, saying awful things. I share it. This DCF report was shared a bunch of time in the goddamn comments section. It's like out there for the world to see. So I read that out loud because it was horrific what she did to those children. Go back and watch the episode if you need to see. And Ashley specifically says Turtleboy's in the comments, and she reads them out loud. They knew I was there. They could see me the whole time. Now, if they wanted to have a private conversation, all they had to do was call each other. Pick up the phone, right? They went on the live stream because they wanted to be seen. There's no other explanation. Why would you send Kate the StreamYard link when you can just fucking call her? What do you need to give it a StreamYard link? She knows people are watching. She wanted people to hear that. She wanted this. And you're literally on a thing called StreamYard. You're on the internet. That is not a private conversation. You're broadcasting it for the world to see. So this was caught on tape. A lot of people have taped it, and it's out there for the world to see. It's horrific, the things she's saying on there. So they go to the Taunton police, apparently. And this is all coordinated by the brilliant legal mind of Michael Gaffney. Michael Gaffney's name on YouTube is Truth Teller. And he actually denied it today, I was told, which is just hilarious. Go back and read any comment from Truth Teller, and you'll quickly see it's the most obvious Gaffney ever. Like, he's so bad at hiding it. It's almost funny. So Gaffney's on there. And of course, Gaffney's a brilliant legal mind who sued me and lost, appealed it, lost his mind, sent out flyers to every house in Holden, calling me a pedophile. Didn't go the way he wanted to, didn't turn the town against me or anything like that. And he's kind of disappeared, I feel like he finally surrendered. But then Kate's given him new life, because the crazies have found each other. Kate found Hadassah, and then Kate found Gaffney, and they're all teaming up, and they've lost their collective minds. They never really had minds, but together they're even worse than you can possibly imagine. So this is what Kate says last night on her stream.
Yes, Aidan is being charged with a felony. Now, as a felon, if you are convicted of a felony, you can't vote, you can't leave the country, you can't possess firearms. There are a lot of restrictions placed on you, which seems like a very, very silly thing to give up because you are butthurt over somebody on the internet. So, I mean, that is what we're dealing with here. And this is extremely vindicating for me, simply because I have put up with so much shit and I've had to do it and roll over and kind of take it lying down, right? Because I've just been dealing with constant character assaults. And that's what happens when you are honest, right? And
oh yeah, very honest. Yeah, you're suffering character assaults because your character is so poor. You gave kids, you lost kids to the state. You neglected them. Several days after losing both of your children, or all four of your children, actually, in 2012, you made a bizarre video in which you attempted to get the abortion pill while pretending to be 6 months pregnant, and then you asked for a coat hanger so you could perform your own coat hanger abortion at Target, in which, by the way, you were wiretapping employees there. So Kate, whatever character she has no character. She's well-known trash within DCF. Everybody in Massachusetts knows this by now. She hardly has any followers from here. All of her followers are from Australia and random places around the world. Most of them are fake. I saw this in the data when she was on there. I saw the people that were watching the Bristol crew shows. They weren't real people. They were all from India and stuff like that. So she claims that I'm being, and she posted here a picture of a police report from the Taunton Police Department. Let me read this out loud to you. All right. Ashley Acevedo explained that her and Kate Peter have an ongoing conflict with Aidan Kearney. Catherine Peter stated that she already takes Aidan Kearney to court She's already taken Aidan Kearney to court in regards to harassment complaints in the past. What she forgot to mention there is she lost that harassment order miserably, and the judge embarrassed her in front of several people in the courtroom. Catherine Peter used to work with Aidan Kearney as a blogger, but now they don't get along. True. Catherine Peter and Ashley Acevedo have both been advised of their HPO rights, and they can attempt contacting YouTube to request his video be removed due to the sensitive information regarding the conversation and her children being published. So basically the cops told her, call YouTube if you have a problem. The link to the public YouTube video uploaded by Ashley Acevedo on her video meeting with Kate Batista is as follows. They link it there. The link to the public YouTube video uploaded by Aidan Kearney, and they link it there. And because I talked about this on the show a week and a half ago. And it says, and this is where it gets tricky, at no point during the conversation recorded by Aidan Kearney were Ashley Acevedo or Kate Peter aware that Aidan Kearney was watching, listening, or recording their private conversations. That's just a lie. It's just a flat out lie. They knew I was there the entire time. Ashley brought me on and put me in the backstage. I was there the entire time. I commented. She replied to the comments. She knew I was there. There weren't that many people watching it. And most of us were in the backstage watching. I have several witnesses that were backstage with me. All are willing to testify. So that's just a flat out lie. This is a false police report once again, because Bristol Blarney routinely does this with the police. She just goes to them, lies, makes shit up, puts on her whole "I'm a battered woman" thing, and dumb cops fall for it. And so this cop says, his last name is Almeida. Based on the foregoing, I am charging Aidan Kearney with the following: unlawful wiretap. So I'm like, okay, this looks legit. This looks legit. So I called the Taunton Police Department today after I published this blog and after I had court with Hadassah. Cop picks up the phone there. I tell him my name. He's like, what's your name? Aidan Kearney? Oh, Turtleboy, he says. Turtleboy. Everybody's talking about you here today because of the blog. And he says to me, this is all a big misunderstanding. That's the cause. This is all a big misunderstanding. We're going to fix it. That's promising. And the officer who was on it, Almeida, I think that was his name. They said he's on vacation till September 1st. So there are no charges yet. There's nothing. I'm like, she said I was going to be getting a summons in the mail. No, there's no charges. There's no charges with us. There's no charges with the district attorney's office. You should not be getting anything in the mail. And we'll wait until this officer gets back, and then you can talk to him. I go, what about he also said that these don't get, when an officer wants to charge you with a crime, it has to get signed off on by the sergeant, and no sergeant has authorized this. They literally talked to one cop. That's it. Took a report, said he was going to ask for charges. That doesn't mean it's going to be charged. The sergeant actually has to review this. There's a process. And then the district attorney's office has to charge it. So they're not even close to being there. They're acting like he's being charged. No, that's not how this works, Kate. I know you think you know the legal process, but the Taunton police were like laughing about it. Like they thought this was like an absurd idea. Like charged felony. What are you talking about? I'm like, yeah, she's really making it out to seem like I'm in fucking deep trouble. Like she really thinks this. But then again, that's what happens when you get your legal expertise from Michael T. Gaffney, who is a certifiable lunatic, as you can see. A certifiable lunatic. You guys have seen the shit Gaffney posts on here. Here's truth. I mean, you tell me this is not Gaffney? Yes, you are correct. It's truly a shame they put themselves in such a legal predicament, isn't it? Caitlin Batista, aka Turtle Kate, he always does that with the AKA thing, made a huge mistake, especially for someone who states that they've worked with attorneys in the past. What's even more amusing is that Kearney has illegally wiretapped interactions on many occasions and has openly admitted to a few times in his live shows. I suppose we can now sit back and have a good laugh at his expense. No pun intended. And I don't know who Tamise Brown is, one of these Blarney idiots. She's shared like Kate's legal defense fund. They literally talk about me 24/7. And they ironically post, I love when they post like, Aidan Kearney is obsessed with me. Bro, you post about me like 20 times a day, like all the time. He's posting like the Kirk Minahan links, basement beggar, AKA, there's the AKA again. That's how he always gives himself away. AKA Turtleboy. Like we don't fucking know that. If you go to Mike Gaffney's page, he posts about me 24/7. He'll be posting about this tomorrow because I told him to. Michael Gaffney does what I tell him to do. He is my slave. And he's got a new friend here, Stacey Barnes, who is certifiable herself, a former turtle rider turned Bristol cult member who then turned on Bristol with me and said that Kate was trash, but then ran back to Kate because she'll just go on whoever she thinks can help her the most. She's an opportunistic idiot. She was constantly whining to me that, oh, Brett's saying mean words to me. You're going to say that? He represents your show. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. Sorry. Deal with it yourself. So they constantly are just having this back and forth about me. And she's president of what she calls the Gaff Pack, which is just the most hilariously pathetic thing I've ever heard in my life. And they just, ha, 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 he's going nowhere. Ha, 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 ha. What an idiot. Ha, ha, ha. Oh my God, what a moron. Basement beggar. Ha, ha, ha. He wants to be Barstool. Ha, 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 ha. And then he's posting pictures like this. I am flawed, but I am cleaned up so well. I mean, this guy is a psychologist could have a field day with this guy, an absolute field day. He's posting the most insane things, like screenshots of conversations I had, like when he was in a group that don't show anything. Like people read this over, they're like, what is this bomb he has on you? Like, what are they talking about? Somebody's fucked up when they're constantly posting about how like they're winning in life. Like, and he does this all the time. A year ago, I started my new job and my new life. I wasn't sure what to expect. Change is always hard. If I could go back in time, I'd simply say you are going to kill it in the next chapter. I mean, what a fucking loser. What a loser. He's also obsessed with Margaret Milliken because Margaret beat him in court pretty decisively too. He was complaining about turtle riders, that we were turtle riders were allegedly saying that rape is okay, he was saying, which is just patently untrue. He posts about me 24/7 and ironically says that I'm obsessed with him. I rarely talk about Mike Gaffney except when he's, suing me, but he posts about me 24/7 and he doesn't understand the Kirk Minahan thing either. So obviously he hasn't listened to Kirk much. Kirk is a friend of mine and he respects me a lot and I respect Kirk a lot. I don't like the Minicunts, but I like Kirk and we've worked, he's trusted me with a lot of stuff over the years. Some stories that have been written that were pretty big stories that he could have given it to anybody, but he gave it to me because he wanted it published on Turtleboy because he trusts more than anything. And Mike doesn't understand. Gaffney's too stupid to understand this relationship that we have. Like Kirk is constantly shitting on everybody. That's his thing. Doesn't matter who you are. He's going to make fun of you. He's busting balls. Gaffney doesn't understand this because he's a fucking moron. So he's constantly posting about that. They really think they have this whole thing on me. It's silly. It's absurd. And we'll see what happens. Maybe they will charge me. I don't really know. I'm not worried about it in the least bit at all because it's obviously not wiretapping. If I'm there, obviously. I mean, that's like saying that you can't tape fucking CNN. Well, I didn't know anyone was watching CNN. They might have a good argument because who watches CNN? But that's like saying CNN saying, somebody taped our show on there. We didn't know anyone was watching that. Okay. Obviously, this is not copyrighted material, so it's not a violation of any of that. But I'm not afraid of Kate Peter. So if she wants to go to court, we can go to court. But I have not committed any crimes. And she keeps talking about the civil lawsuit, anxiously waiting to get served on that one. Should be here any day now, I'm sure. But yeah, we'll see what happens. All right. Why don't we take any questions you guys have? Any questions you guys want to fire at me? Go ahead. And please don't block anyone. Please don't block anyone either. Let me refresh the donos. Big crowd here tonight. I like the crowd. Real crowd too. Real people. That's what I like about you guys. You're actual real people. I'd like to thank David Owen, who says, keep fighting the good fight, mate. Will do, mate. Llama says, stop picking on that lying hoe Bristol. We need to follow Milky Mike's example and respect women. Yeah, right. Yeah. All right, cool. Ask away. If you guys have any questions, ask away. Okay, no one's blocked. I didn't think they were. But I assume there's a bunch of trolls on here tonight. Is Gaffney with us tonight? Is the truth teller out there? How about Bojangles? The other thing, but the Bojangles account. Did I ask Dana Young about coming on the show? I will ask her, actually. That's a good idea. Bojangles, back when they had that live stream that had 1,100 people allegedly watching it at one time in India, a commenter named Bojangles appeared and said something about, Kate, you need to start your own channel and do your own thing because you're too big for Turtleboy sucks and you've outgrown him and all this stuff. And I'm in a group chat with her. I'm like, do you see this comment? And she's like, oh, we'll get rid of that right away. We'll get rid of that. Well, Bojangles has been commenting a lot over the years, over the last few months. And Bojangles just happens to say the exact same things that Kate Peter says over and over again, except Bojangles pretends to be British. So occasionally they'll drop mate at the end of something like that, or say I'm across the pond, some verbiage like that. It's clearly Kate. And that just goes to show you what a psychopath she is. While she was working for me, she was creating fake names to tell herself to start her own channel. This was in the works the entire time, obviously. And that goes with Aidan Blarney. It goes along with that. She's a psychopath. That's what she is. Okay. Any questions? Do you think Kate sleeps with Billy Baggs? Probably not. I mean, I don't even think Billy Baggs would want a piece of that. Ugh, gross. What's the origins of the flap-rimmed hat? Probably like 5, 6, I don't know. How long ago? 10 years ago that was good in? I'm not quite sure. The Keytar Bear profile, she had that one, but there is an actual Keytar Bear too. So that can be a little confusing. How loud were the giggles? I just talked to one guy. It's funny. Whenever the cops call you, police in this state know who Turtle Boy is. I'm very good to the police, and I respect them and their job they do, and I think they should focus on serious issues, not this nonsense. Maury says, what made you believe the 17-year-old was untrained? I was honestly confused. Okay, so what I meant by that was like, obviously the police go through like extensive training on crowd control and, you know, obviously firing the weapon, getting acclimated with the weapon, different types of weapons. Every gun is obviously different. And that's what I meant by that. A 17-year-old walking the streets of a riot with an AR-15 strapped around his chest, to me, is not the same as a law enforcement officer. That's what I meant by that. He is not as trained to be in a situation like that as a law enforcement officer is, because he's 17. So that's what I meant by that comment. He was a cadet. Okay. Not the same thing. That's what I meant by that. Why did everybody focus? Like, you guys agreed on like 99% of that, but we focused on that aspect of it. That's fine. I like an argument. Okay, other questions. Who's tossing insults at women? We missed something? Who's the negative one? Let's see. What do you think about the NHL canceling hockey games? It pisses me off so much, guys. The social justice bullshit has to come to an end. I'm so sick of it being jammed down our throats. Everybody knows what the NBA did and the NHL is doing is a fucking joke. It is an absolute joke. Sitting out 2 games for a boycott, or 1 game for a boycott, accomplishing nothing. What are they boycotting? You boycott your own work or your own stores. That's what you boycott. You work for the NBA. You're not boycotting them. What are you boycotting? You're boycotting an entity that you have no control over, and that is the government. What is the government supposed to do? What do you want? And when will you come back? Obviously, nothing changed, so they came back. So basically, they took a 2-day vacation. It's a joke, and it should be treated as a joke. But unfortunately, you go on ESPN or wherever, and they're like, "Oh, they're like, there's a very taking a stand, very brave." No, it's not. They just took 2 days off from work. That's all they did. What are they protesting for? I'm going to get more into that shooting in the blog I did today on the live show Saturday, so I don't want to get too into that. But that guy got what was coming to him. I mean, who are we defending here? We're defending rapists who disobey police orders, try to grab a knife and stab them. I'm supposed to feel bad for this person. The NBA is supposed to stop playing games because there's some shitbag in Wisconsin who got exactly what he deserved, exactly what was coming to him. Yeah. Oh, he's paralyzed. Well, good. Now he can't rape anymore. Yeah. His raping legs ain't the same. Anymore. It's hard to get good leverage now. I suppose they can do some reverse cowgirl if he's in a wheelchair, but hard to rape from that position, if you know what I mean. So it's a joke. The fact that the NHL is doing it too is just a bigger joke. Eventually it's got to end, right? This can't continue. I always say I'm not going to watch it. Then I always do. I know a lot of other people do too, but eventually you're like, fuck these guys. Fuck them. I'm so sick of having this shit because they act like it's like, if you don't go along with this, you're just evil. It's like, no, but I have a differing opinion than you on the policing in this country. Okay. Why is your way like noble and, wise, and my way is just ignorant and racist? What? That's how I'm meant to feel when I'm paying your salary by coming to your games and stuff like that. Nah, not doing that anymore. I think that's what people need to do. Like, and eventually they're going to turn enough people off where they're going to lose money. And eventually the owners have to just stand up to these players. And guess what? If the owners just say to the players, you need to be at work tomorrow. If you don't work, you're fired. You're fired. Done. We're done with you. You know what they're going to do? They're going to play. Even LeBron, he's going to play. He's going to shut up and dribble. They shut up for the Chinese when money was on the line. They'll shut up for the American, but the American owners are scared of them because they're all white and they don't want to be seen as racist. But they need to eventually just stand up to them and say, no. I pay you to shut up and dribble. Shut the fuck up and dribble, bitch. End of story. All right, other questions? Oh, there's Truth Teller. There's Michael Gaffney. I knew you'd be back, Gaff Pack. What's up, my man? Why don't you call in? Let's have Mike, since you're a tough guy and you like to lift, even though you cheat when you lift, you bend your back there during your curls. That's not the same thing. There's the link, Mike. I invite you to join me, but you won't. I have a feeling you won't because you're a coward. You're a pussy. You'd never say anything to my face. God knows that because you're like introverted and weird. And during the depositions, when I called you a dick to your face, you clutched your pearls and you cried about it. And then I won and we laughed at you for that. You're a joke. Nobody likes you. You're 50 years old. You're going through a midlife crisis. You bought your wife a set of tits because your throuple ended. It appears as if your mistress has left you. Your other mistresses, by the way, speak very lowly of you. And there's been an allegation, Mike, I don't know if you know this, a very serious allegation made against you that if she ever attempts to go forward with this, you could be in a lot of trouble, my friend. Let's just put it that way. A lot of trouble. And you know who it is, and you know what you did to her, you fucking animal. You animal. I know exactly what you did, Mike. It was heinous. Heinous. Stacy's, oh, trust me. Oh, yeah, Tracy. We trust you, Stacy. You're a trustworthy person, for sure. Definitely. Sure thing, Stacy. I was just on the phone with him. And Stacy, by the way, says she's going to visit him in Tampa Bay. So they're going to fuck soon, I'm assuming. Why? I mean, pretty gross, but whatever. I think it was bound to happen at this point. Okay. All right. Anybody else? Yeah, Milky Mike's too much of a pussy to come on here. He would never do that. Mike's afraid of me. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows Mike's afraid of me. And then I'll post about this tomorrow, and they're like, well, I didn't see this. Somebody sent this to me. And they'll play it off like that. But we know who you are, Mike. You should just get a new name, Mike, or just, be less obvious. It's just, you give yourself away. You and Bristol Blarney. It's so obvious it's you, baby. It's so obvious. So anybody else before I want to go see Trump speak? Is he speaking yet? I'll bicep curl him, yeah. They are going to fuck soon, M-Job. You're right about that. I mean, I said that, but they are. And he's going to make Kareem watch too. No doubt about it. There is a TV hat in the store. It's not this one. It's not. I got to order it. I want to get it. I want to try it on myself, but there is one in the store. I got to update the store. There's a few rabbits that will be pulled out of the hat. Funny, that's an exact same thing Gaffney's on record saying, the rabbits out of the hat thing. He said that on Facebook. I got a screenshot of him saying, rabbits out of the hat. See, he's just so obvious. Mike, you're in the comments. Just come on, baby. Come on, baby. What you afraid of? Come on, boy. Come on, boy. Chicken, 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 chicken. Bok, 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 bok. Okie dokie. Nobody is scared of you, little Aidan. Oh, geez. There's another thing. Who's the only person who calls me little Aidan? Oh, Mike Gaffney does. You're just so fucking obvious, Mike. Hello. Mike, you are scared of me. That's why you won't come on. That's why your bitch ass moved to Florida. Because you're scared of me. You ran away. First you moved to Texas. Then you failed there. Nobody liked you. So you moved to Florida. You drag your fucking wife around the country and make her watch while you bang other chicks. Ooh. Some of them nastier than others. Ugh. And Mike, don't forget, I might have some pictures of you too. Don't forget that. Don't forget who your enemies are, Mike. I might have some pictures of you. Wouldn't want those to leak now, would you? And let me just say, not impressive. Let's just say 30th percentile Mike. That's what we'll call him. 30th percentile Mike. And we'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that. 4.5 inches. Anyway, go ahead. Anyone else have any questions? Is it leg day, Mike? Ooh, what pictures, Laura says? You can use your imagination. Just understand there are pictures out there. I have seen them. We'll see. We'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that. Stacy's seen the pics too. I don't think you've seen the pics that I have, Stacy. I don't think you have. If you did, you probably wouldn't waste your time going to Tampa Bay. It's probably not going to be as fulfilling as you hoped it would be. Let's just put it that way. Yeah. Any other questions? What about Quab and calling DCF? That's fucking bullshit. That's what that is. Did you know Kate lost her YouTube live show? I know she lost it for a bit. But yeah, they've been going after David Owen's wife, who's beautiful, by the way. Love David Owen, great guy. Obviously, his wife's a nice lady too. Never met the lady, never met David too. But that's what they do. They're insecure in themselves, and so they just go after other people. But luckily, David Owens doesn't give a fuck, man. David Owens doesn't care. He just battles with these people. It's so funny watching him go at. He's like a British version of Brett, kind of, except without like a mullet. And I mean, he swears in like British at them. Like, it's fucking hilarious watching David Owen just own these people. It's great. Yeah, like a fun size Snicker bar, kind of like not quite a regular one, but you know, slightly better than the kind you get on Halloween. Let's just put it that way. Okay, Trump's on. So we're going to call this a night in a minute. If you guys have any more last minute questions, then we'll call it a night. I got to go watch Trump. Trump's on. Okay, everybody's saying Trump's on. So I got to go watch Trump. I got to see this speech. Let's go Trump. All right, guys. So if nobody has any more questions, I guess we will call it a night. And sorry we had to cut this a little short, but it's been like an hour and a half, so that's good. Should we just live stream Trump? Is that what you guys want to do? You want to live stream Trump? Okay, let's live stream it, shall we? Let me change the mic setting real quick. Is this wiretapping? Are we wiretapping the Hill right? Don't tell Donald Trump we're wiretapping him, guys. He doesn't know we're watching. He doesn't know. Yeah, this will be fun. We'll watch the Trump speech with some commentary. This is different. This is badass, by the way. The fact that he's got like thousands of people on the lawn. The media is going nuts. They're crying about social distancing. I love when they do that. It's like the first thing they talk about. Well, they weren't wearing masks. Bitch, you don't think you're going to get anywhere near Trump without getting a COVID test? God damn, that's a nice dress by Melania. Look at her, man. What a first lady she is, huh? You're never gonna see a first lady like her again. What's wrong with the volume? Is it too loud? Too?
Thank you very much.
Is it too loud? Too soft? Tell me.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Friends, delegates, and distinguished guests, please. I stand before you tonight, honored by your support, proud of the extraordinary progress we have made together over the last 4 incredible years, and brimming with confidence in the bright future we will build for
She is gorgeous.
over the next 4 years.
Yes.
We begin.
Look at all those people. Jesus.
Our thoughts are with the wonderful people who have just come through the wrath of Hurricane Laura.
I forgot. Oh, Hurricane Laura Hicks.
Closely with state and local officials in Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, sparing no effort.
Look at his hair.
Lives.
Look at that.
The hurricane
Oh,
was
man.
fierce, one of the strongest to make landfall in 150 years. The casualties and damage were far less than thought possible only 24 hours ago.
Fuck you, she says.
And this is due to the great work of FEMA, law enforcement, and the individual states. I will be going this weekend. And congratulations. Thank you for that great job out there. We really appreciate it. We are one national family.
So we
We
have,
will always
this is teleprompter Trump.
love
Teleprompter Trump is
each other.
good Trump. Good
Here
Trump.
tonight are the people who have made my journey possible and filled my life with so much joy. For her incredible service to our nation and its children, I want to thank our magnificent First Lady.
There she is. She looks great tonight, man. She looks great. Exactly. The teleprompter Trump is, if he was did teleprompters all the time. How are the other speakers tonight? Who else spoke? I didn't get a chance to watch, obviously. I was doing the stream.
And to all of my children and grandchildren, I love you more than words can express.
I've never heard him say he loves someone.
I know
like
my
actual
brother
love.
Robert is looking down on us right now from heaven.
I did hear what Bette Midler said.
Brother,
Awful.
and was very proud of the job we are all doing. Thank you. We love you, Robert.
Ben Carson spoke. That's a good one.
Let us also take a moment to show our profound appreciation for a man who has always fought by our side
Kyle Rittenhouse.
for our values.
Kyle Rittenhouse.
A man of deep
Come on, say it. Kyle Rittenhouse.
and steadfast conviction. Our Vice President.
Oh, him too. He's good. Okay, Mike. Okay. How awesome would that have if he gives that kid a shout out tonight? Mike Pence is the perfect compliment to Donald Trump. He brings like maturity and adultness.
And Mike is joined by his beloved wife, a teacher, and military mom, Karen Pence. Thank you, Karen.
I love how they just project, don't be scared, like no masks. It's such a better, more hopeful look for America.
Americans tonight with a heart full of gratitude and boundless optimism. I profoundly accept this nomination for President of the United States.
I mean, the Democrats didn't have anything like this. Did the Democrats do the thing, or the Republicans do the thing where they go to each state? You guys can't hear the video? Click live. It's not live? It is live.
The Republican Party, the party of Abraham Lincoln,
This is live.
goes forward united, determined, and ready to welcome millions of
What's the matter? What are you guys complaining about? What's the matter?
and anyone who believes in the greatness of America and the righteous heart of the American people.
Donald, yeah, I don't know how to, it's as loud as it can be.
We will again build the greatest economy in history, quickly returning to full employment, soaring incomes, and record prosperity. We will defend America against all threats and protect America against all dangers. We will lead America into new frontiers of ambition
How about now? Is that
and
different?
discovery, and we will reach for new heights of national
I
achievement.
just changed the setting.
We will rekindle new faith in our values, new pride in our history, and a new spirit of unity that can only be realized through love for our great country.
Perfect. Okay, good.
Because we understand that America is not a land cloaked in darkness. America is the torch that enlightens the entire world.
Little boring so far. Come on, get to the good stuff.
Gathered here at our beautiful and majestic White House, known all over the world as the People's House, we cannot help but marvel at the miracle that is our great American story.
That's a great backdrop.
This has been the home of larger-than-life figures like Teddy Roosevelt
True.
and Andrew Jackson,
Millard Fillmore.
who rallied Americans to bold visions of a bigger and brighter future. Within these walls lived tenacious generals like President Grant and Eisenhower, who led our soldiers in the cause of freedom. From these grounds, Thomas Jefferson sent Lewis and Clark on a daring expedition to cross a wild and uncharted continent.
True.
In the depths of a bloody civil war, President Abraham Lincoln looked out these very windows upon a half-completed Washington monument and asked God in his providence to save our nation.
Trump's using big words tonight. Providence.
2 weeks after Pearl Harbor,
history lessons.
Franklin Delano Roosevelt welcomed Winston Churchill. And just inside, they set our people on a course to victory in the Second World War. In recent months, our nation,
it's going well
and
for
the
Trump
entire
these days.
planet
I was really down on him a couple
has
weeks
been
ago.
struck by a new and powerful invisible enemy.
COVID. Okay, so this is
Like
weakness.
those brave Americans before us, we are meeting this challenge. We are delivering life-saving therapies and will produce a vaccine before the end of the year.
That's a good thing to hit on, the
or
vaccine.
maybe even sooner.
Yep. Hit on the vaccines. Don't say that, like, we did a good job containing it. Obviously, we didn't.
We will defeat the virus, end the pandemic, and emerge stronger than ever before.
That's good. Stronger than ever before. Words like that are good. Defeat the virus. You cannot defeat a virus.
What united generations past was an unshakable confidence in America's destiny and an unbreakable faith in the American people. They knew that our country is blessed by God and has a special purpose in this world. It is that conviction that inspired the formation of our union, our westward expansion, the abolition of slavery, the passage of civil rights, the space program, and the overthrow of fascism, tyranny, and communism. This towering American spirit has prevailed over every challenge and lifted us to the summit of human endeavor. And yet, despite all of our greatness as a nation, everything we have achieved is now in danger.
Of what?
This is the most important election in the history of our country.
I feel like they say that every election. But yes, this time, it's for real. For real this time. He's actually on to something. If you give the Democrats control, you see what happens in Wisconsin, you see what happens in Minnesota. Their philosophy is let the mob do whatever the fuck they want to do. Bad.
Thank you. At no time before have voters faced a clearer choice between two parties, two visions, two philosophies.
You hear the people in the background
or
playing the
two
horns trying to interrupt them?
This election will decide whether we save the American dream or whether we allow a socialist agenda to demolish our cherished destiny.
Where is the teleprompter?
It will decide whether we rapidly create millions of high-paying jobs or whether we crush our industries and send millions of these jobs overseas, as has foolishly been done for many decades.
Foolishly.
Your vote will decide whether we protect law-abiding Americans or whether we give free rein to violent anarchists and agitators and criminals who threaten our citizens. And this election will decide whether we will defend the American way of life or whether we will allow a radical movement to completely dismantle and destroy it. That won't happen.
I can't get over the Melania dress. Neon green. Fucking phenomenal.
At the Democrat National Convention, Joe Biden and his party repeatedly assailed America as a land of racial, economic, and social injustice.
Hit on this. Good.
So tonight I ask you a simple question.
What?
How can the Democrat Party ask to lead our country when it spends so much time tearing down our country?
Ooh, I never thought of it that way. Ooh, I like that. Ooh, boom roasted. Ooh. But he's right when he talks about the fact that the Democratic Convention just painted this picture of doom and gloom. America's racist, America's awful. And
they do not see America as the most free, just, and
this is what
exceptional
people want to
nation
hear.
on
They want to hear a positive.
Instead, they see a wicked nation.
Thank you.
That
Perfect.
must
This
be
is good.
punished
This is good
for its sins.
Yes, go.
Our opponents say that redemption for you can only come from giving power to them.
Yes.
This is a tired anthem spoken by every repressive movement throughout history. But in this country, we don't look to career politicians for salvation. In America, we don't turn to government to restore our souls. We put our faith in Almighty God.
Trump's a big God guy. Big God guy. Whatever, that sells. That sells.
Joe Biden is not a savior.
No.
Of America's soul. He is the destroyer of America's jobs. And if given the chance, he will be the destroyer of American greatness. For 47 years, Joe Biden took the donations of blue-collar workers, gave them hugs and even kisses.
Ooh. I see what he did there. Trump, that was on purpose. This is going very well so far. So much
And
better
told
than
them
speaking
he
to a
felt their
camera.
pain.
Biden did. What a pussy.
And then he flew back to Washington and voted to ship our jobs to China and many other distant lands.
No.
Joe Biden spent his entire career outsourcing their dreams and the dreams of American workers, offshoring their jobs, opening their borders, and sending their sons and daughters to fight in endless foreign wars.
Yes, this is good.
Wars that never ended. 4 years ago, I
Nobody
ran for
wants
president
wars.
because I could not watch this betrayal of our country any longer. I could not sit by.
He looks so presidential tonight.
As career politicians let other countries take advantage of us on trade, borders, foreign policy, and national defense. Our NATO partners, as an example, were very far behind in their defense payments. But at my strong urging, they agreed to pay $130 billion more a year, the first time in over 20 years that they upped their payments.
Yes, jack it up. Give me that money, dog.
And this $130 billion will ultimately go to $400 billion a year.
Ooh.
And Secretary General Stoltenberg, who heads NATO, was amazed after watching for so many years and said that President Trump did what no one else was able to do.
What's that?
Thank you.
All right, always before that, okay.
From the moment I left my former life behind, and it was a good life.
Oh, he's going to go off script. Don't do it.
I have done
back on.
nothing but fight for you. I did what our political establishment never expected and could never forgive, breaking the cardinal rule of Washington politics. I kept my promise.
I did see that Jacob Blake's mother apologized to Trump, said she has the utmost respect for him. Didn't see that one coming. I'm not going to lie. He's got a lot of momentum right now. He's gone. The DNC was such a disaster that Trump gained in the
Together,
polls.
we have ended the rule of the failed political class.
A week from today, he'll
and
be
they
leading.
are desperate to get their power back by any means necessary.
He's
You've
right
seen
about that. Yes, we saw with Kavanaugh. Yes.
They are angry at me because instead of putting them first, I very simply said America first.
Yes. And it was a good life. It was a good life.
Thank you. Days after taking office, we shocked the Washington establishment and withdrew from the last administration's job-killing Trans-Pacific Partnership. I then immediately approved the Keystone XL and Dakota Access pipelines, ended the unfair and very costly Paris Climate Accord, and secured for the first time American energy independence.
Yes, energy independence. That's a little boring. I'm seeing, by the way, Black Lives Matter approval ratings in the last 2 months have jumped from +22 to -5. That's going to help Trump.
Record-setting tax and regulation cuts at a rate nobody had ever seen before.
Yes.
Within 3 short years, we built the strongest economy in the history of the world. Washington insiders asked me not to stand up to China.
CNN.
They pleaded with me to let China continue stealing our jobs, ripping us off,
we're going to fact check
and robbing our country.
Actually, the economy was healthier in 1942 if you look at gross domestic product. So that's just factually untrue.
We took
just
the
making things up.
toughest,
Making it up.
boldest, strongest, and hardest hitting action against China in American history by far.
That's just not true. General Eisenhower was actually tougher on China, according to the data. So
they said that it would be impossible to terminate and replace NAFTA. But again, they were wrong. Earlier this year, I ended the NAFTA nightmare and signed the brand new U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement into law.
So that's not true. Some people like NAFTA. NAFTA was actually not a nightmare. NAFTA was actually very good.
Right now, auto companies and others are building their plants and factories in America, not firing their employees, and not deserting us for other countries.
Well, that's just not true. You'll see in Dayton, Ohio, a plant closed down. So
and perhaps no area did the Washington special interests try harder to stop us than on my policy of pro-American immigration.
This is CNN Turtle. Actually.
But I refuse to back down, and today America's borders are more secure than ever before.
Fact check. The wall actually has not gone as planned, and the borders are actually more porous, according to the illegal aliens who vote in Democrats in California. So that's just factually untrue.
We ended catch and release, stopped asylum fraud, took down human traffickers who prey on women and children.
See, that's just not true. There's this thing called the Pumpkin Spice Mafia.
20,000 gang members and 500,000 criminal aliens.
See, there's this group of churchgoers who recruits people at Walmart for human trafficking.
We have already built 300 miles of border wall, and we are adding 10 new miles every single week.
It's actually 5.
The wall will soon be complete, and it is working beyond our wildest expectations.
Actually, it hasn't met expectations for everybody.
We are joined this evening by members of the Border Patrol Union representing our country's courageous border agents. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you. Brave, brave people.
Actually, you'll notice that they're actually not that brave because many of those guys actually work desk jobs. So some would say that they're not actually brave. And you'll notice none of them are socially distanced. None of them are wearing masks. Could be spreading COVID. Just not good. Not good.
You see, this country loves our law enforcement. They do.
Actually, fact check right now. In the streets, there are people calling death to pigs.
Love and respect.
So it appears as if not everybody loves and respects.
That the Tennessee Valley Authority laid off hundreds of American workers and forced them to train their lower-paid foreign replacement. I promptly removed the chairman of the board, and now those talented American workers have been rehired and are back providing power to Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, Mississippi,
the
North
TVA
Carolina,
was actually created by
Virginia.
Franklin Delano Roosevelt during the New Deal. It's one of the only remaining programs left over from the New Deal. It provides hydroelectric power.
and some
for
are
that
here
region.
with us this evening. Please stand. You went through a lot. Please stand. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Actually,
Been through a lot.
some of them actually work for private utility companies,
Thank you
not
very
the
much.
TVA. So fact check on that one.
Last month, I took on Big Pharma. You think that's easy? It's not.
No, they're always going off
And
script.
signed orders
Don't
that
do
will
it. Don't
massively
do it.
lower the cost of your prescription drugs and give critically ill patients access to life-saving cures. We passed the decades-long-awaited right to try. Right to try. We also passed VA accountability and VA choice. Our great veterans, we're taking care of our veterans. 91% approval rating this month, the VA, given by our
Actually,
veterans. First
it
time
was
anything like that's ever
84%
happened.
according to the latest
By the
Rasmussen
end of my
poll.
first term, we will have approved more than 300 federal judges, including 2 great new Supreme Court justices.
Actually, most people do not like Brett Kavanaugh. It would not describe him as great. As for Neil Gorsuch, he gets a grade of slightly below average. So it's just factually untrue
And to
to say
bring
that they are
prosperity
great.
to our forgotten inner cities, we worked hard to pass historic criminal justice reform, prison reform, opportunity zones, and long-term funding of historically black colleges and universities.
He's been in the black stuff
And before
really
the
well
China
this week.
virus came
Really
in,
well. The China virus,
produced
yes.
the best unemployment numbers for
Actually,
African Americans,
it's called
Hispanic
COVID-19,
Americans, and Asian
not
Americans
China virus.
ever recorded.
It came from Europe. It's the European virus, actually. White people are actually the bane of our existence. So that's according to most Gallup polls.
And I say very modestly that I have done more for the African American community than any president since Abraham Lincoln, our
Fact
first
check.
Republican president.
Fact check. Barack Obama actually, well, I can't name anything he did, actually. That might be true. That might actually be true.
And I have done more in 3 years for the black community than Joe Biden has done in 47 years.
Fact check. True, actually. Believe it or not, that's actually true. I have no rebuttal for that one. It's actually
And
very
when I'm
true.
reelected, the best is yet to come.
Fact check. Current trends show us that the best has already come while Obama was president because he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Not white bread, though. That would be racist. I mean, this is so much better to have an audience. I mean, think of what Biden did. There's no energy. He's talking to a fucking screen. Just the image it projects when you're scared and you have a mask on and you're by yourself talking to a camera. It's like, why are you hiding it? Trump's out there in front of thousands of people in the goddamn White House cheering him on. I mean, this is such a powerful
When I
message
took office,
that's being sent right
the
now.
Middle East was in total chaos. ISIS was rampaging.
Actually, it's not
Iran
true.
was on the rise.
Iran was
And
actually
the
on
war in
decline.
Afghanistan had no end in sight. I withdrew from the terrible one-sided Iran nuclear deal.
Actually, that was two-sided, that deal. Two-sided.
Unlike
Our
many
side just
presidents
sucked.
before me, I kept my promise, recognized Israel's true capital, and moved our embassy to Jerusalem.
Actually, to say it's the true capital is a matter of opinion, not as fact. We have not actually gotten the approval of the Palestinians yet on what their input on what the true capital is yet. So this is actually the Zionist opinion of what a capital is.
But not only did we talk about it as a future site, we got it built. Rather than spending $1 billion on a new building as planned, we took an already owned existing building in a better location.
Fact
Real
check.
estate deal, right?
Oh, don't do it. Don't go off script. Don't do it. He's so
And
tempted.
opened it-
He's so tempted.
At a cost of less than $500,000.
Fact check. It was actually $578,000, including tax.
many things like that government is doing
He
right
keeps
now.
doing it. He keeps
We
doing
also
it. He keeps
recognize
doing it. Don't do
Israeli
it.
sovereignty over the Golan Heights. And this month we achieved the first Middle East peace deal in 25 years. Thank you,
Fact check.
UAE. Thank you to Israel.
It was actually 26 years. 26 years.
In addition, we obliterated 100% of the ISIS caliphate and killed its founder and leader, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi.
Fact check. He's commonly referred to as an austere religious leader, according to the Washington Post. And he should be revered in such. It's actually quite rude
And
to
in
be.
a separate operation,
cheering
we
someone.
eliminated the world's #1 terrorist by far, Qasem Soleimani.
Fact check. Some polls have him ranked as number 3. So he was arguably not number 1. That would be
Unlike
Abu.
previous administrations,
Gupta
I have
Patel.
kept America out of new wars, and our troops are coming home. We have spent nearly $2.5 trillion on completely rebuilding our military, which was very badly depleted when I took office, as you know. This includes 3 separate pay raises for our great warriors.
Actually, that pay raise was pre-negotiated by the Obama administration, and Trump just implemented it. So he's taking credit for something he did not actually do.
We also launched the Space Force, the first new branch of the United States military since the Air Force was created almost 75 years ago. We have spent the last 4 years reversing the damage Joe Biden inflicted over the last 47 years.
He was really hitting on that.
Biden's record is a shameful roll call of the most catastrophic betrayals and blunders in our lifetime. He has spent his entire career on the wrong side of history. Biden voted for the NAFTA disaster, the single worst trade deal ever enacted. He supported China's entry into the World Trade Organization, one of the greatest economic disasters of all
China.
time. After those Biden calamities, the United States lost 1 in 4 manufacturing jobs. We laid off workers in Michigan, Ohio, New Hampshire, Pennsylvania, and many other states. They didn't want to hear Biden's hollow words of empathy. They wanted their jobs back.
They took her
As
jobs.
vice president, he supported the Trans-Pacific Partnership, which would have been a death sentence for the U.S. auto industry. He backed the horrendous South Korea trade deal, which took many jobs from our country and which I've reversed and made a great deal for our country. He repeatedly supported mass amnesty for illegal immigrants. He voted for the Iraq War. He opposed the mission to take out Osama bin Laden.
Fact
He
check.
opposed killing Soleimani.
These are all true.
He oversaw the rise of ISIS and cheered the rise of China as a positive development for America and the world. Some positive development.
Fact check. He
That's
didn't
why
actually. He
China
didn't actually cheer.
supports Joe
Didn't actually
Biden
cheer.
and desperately wants him to win. I can tell you that upon very good information.
Fact check. That is not verifiable.
China would own
Not
our
verifiable.
country if Joe Biden got elected.
Fact check. That is. There's no proof of that. They
Unlike
would actually
Biden,
own
I
the
will
country.
hold them fully accountable for the tragedy that they caused all over the world. In recent months, our nation and the world has been hit by the once-in-a-century pandemic that China allowed to spread around the globe. They could have stopped it, but they allowed it to come out.
Fact check.
We are grateful to be
The
joined
virus was
tonight
actually
by several
originated
of
out
our
of Trump's
incredible
asshole,
nurses
so
and
it's mostly
first
his fault.
responders. Please stand and accept our profound thanks and gratitude.
Having nurses and first responders stand up and get clapped for. This is a great move too. Great move. Shore beats going out on your deck at 7 o'clock, banging your pots and pans like a trained seal. I'll be right back. I gotta get a drink of water. Hold on. I didn't think we'd do it.
Many Americans, including me, have sadly lost friends and cherished loved ones to this horrible disease. As one nation, we mourn, we grieve, and we hold in our hearts forever the memories of all of those lives that have been so tragically taken, so unnecessary. In their honor, we will unite. In their memory, we will overcome. And when the China virus hit, we launched the largest national mobilization since World War II. Invoking the Defense Production Act, we produced the world's largest supply of ventilators. Not a single American who has needed a ventilator has been denied a ventilator, which is a miracle.
Fact check. Many people went without ventilators, according to Andrew Cuomo, because he didn't give them
Good
any.
job heading the task force by our great Vice President. Thank you very much, Mark. Please stand up. We shipped hundreds of millions of masks, gloves, and gowns to our frontline healthcare workers. To protect our nation's seniors, we rushed supplies, testing kits, and personnel to nursing homes. We gave everything you can possibly give, and we're still giving it because we're taking care of our senior citizens.
Fact check. Senior citizens are actually dying at record rates.
The
due
Army
to COVID,
Corps of
and it's all his
Engineers
fault.
built field hospitals, and the Navy deployed our great hospital ships. We developed from scratch the largest and most advanced testing system anywhere in the world. America has tested more than every country in Europe put together, and more than every nation in the Western Hemisphere combined. Think of that.
Fact
We have
check.
conducted
All
40
the countries in
million
the
more
Western
tests
Hemisphere are
than
bootleg.
the next closest nation, which is India. We developed a wide array of effective treatments, including a powerful antibody treatment known as convalescent plasma. You saw that on Sunday night when we announced it, that will save thousands and thousands of lives. Thanks to advances, we have pioneered the fatality rate, and you look at it and you look at the numbers, it has been reduced by 80% since April, 80%. The United States is among the lowest case fatality rates of any major country anywhere in the world. The European Union's case fatality rate is nearly 3 times higher than ours, but you don't hear that. They don't write about that. They don't want to write about that. They don't want you to know those things. Altogether, the nations of Europe have experienced a 30% greater increase in excess mortality than the United States. Think of that. We enacted the largest package of financial relief in American history. Thanks to our Paycheck Protection Program, we have saved or supported more than 50 million American jobs. That's one of the reasons that we're advancing so rapidly with our economy. Great job. As a result, we have seen the smallest economic contraction of any major Western nation, and we are recovering at a much faster rate than anybody. Over the past 3 months, we have gained over 9 million jobs, and that's a record in the history of our country. Unfortunately, from the beginning, our opponents have shown themselves capable of nothing but a partisan ability to criticize. When I took bold action to issue a travel ban on China,
I'm mocking this,
very
obviously,
early
but I'm on
indeed,
Twitter.
Joe
And
Biden called it
like the New York Times is literally doing a
xenophobic.
fact check.
And then I
live.
introduced a ban on Europe very early again. If we had listened to Joe, hundreds of thousands more Americans would have died.
He's right about that.
Instead of following the science, Joe Biden wants to inflict a painful shutdown on the entire country.
Yes, folks, yes, hit this
Shutdown would
hard.
inflict
Hit this hard.
unthinkable and lasting harm on our nation's children, families, and citizens of all backgrounds.
Mention the schools.
The cost of the Biden shutdown would be measured in increased drug overdoses, depression, alcohol addiction, suicides, heart attacks, economic devastation, job loss, and much more. Joe Biden's plan is not a solution to the virus, but rather it's a surrender to the virus.
Yes, that's a great line right there. Great line. Great line. It's literally what he wants to do, is hide from the virus.
My administration has a very different approach.
Okay, what is it?
To save as many lives as possible, we are focusing on the science, the facts, and the data. We are aggressively sheltering those at highest risk, especially the elderly, while allowing lower risk Americans to safely return to work.
That's a good,
and to
great,
school.
good Trump.
And we want to see so many of those great states be open by Democrats.
America wants to open
They
up.
have to be open.
Thank you.
They have to get back to work.
Joe Biden literally said that he wants to close the country down again and make everyone wear masks.
They have
Such
to
a
get back to
contrast.
work,
Such a
and they have to
contrast.
get back to school.
Positive.
Most importantly, we are marshaling America's scientific genius to produce a vaccine in record time. Under Operation Warp Speed, we have 3 different vaccines in the final stage of trials. Right now, years ahead of what has been achieved before. Nobody thought it could ever be done this fast. Normally it would be years, and we did it in a matter of a few months. We're producing them in advance so that hundreds of millions of doses will be quickly available. We will have a safe and effective vaccine this year, and together we will crush the virus.
Fact check. A virus cannot actually be crushed. It can only be contained.
At the Democrat convention, you barely heard a word about their agenda. But that's not because they don't have one. It's because their agenda is the most extreme set of proposals ever put forward by a major party nominee. Joe Biden may claim he is an ally of the light, but when it comes to his agenda, Biden wants to keep us completely in the dark. He doesn't have a clue.
Fact check.
He has pledged a $4 trillion tax hike on almost all American families, which will totally collapse our rapidly improving economy. And once again, record stock markets that we have right now will also collapse. That means your 401ks, that means all of the stocks that you have. On the other hand, just as I did in my first term, I will cut taxes even further for hardworking moms and dads. I will not raise taxes. I will cut them, and very substantially.
Yes, good Trump, good Trump, good Trump. It's been a good speech, man.
And we will also provide tax credits to bring jobs out of China back to America, and we will impose tariffs on any company that leaves America to produce jobs overseas. We will make sure our companies and jobs stay in our country, as I've already been doing for quite some time, if you've noticed. Joe Biden's agenda is made in China. My agenda is made in the USA. Biden has promised to abolish the production of American oil, coal, shale, and natural gas, laying waste to the economies of Pennsylvania, Ohio, Texas, North Dakota, Oklahoma, Colorado, and New Mexico, destroying those states, absolutely destroying those states and others. Millions of jobs will be lost.
Love the breeze in the background.
Energy prices will soar. These same policies led to crippling power outages in California just last week. Everybody saw that.
Everybody.
Tremendous power outage. Nobody's seen anything like it. But
Not good.
We saw that last week in California.
Fact check. The ice storms of 2011 in Massachusetts were actually much worse.
When his own party can't even keep the lights on.
Fact check. The lights are working just fine in several states besides California.
Joe Biden's campaign has even published a 110-page policy platform. You can't get away from this. Co-authored with far-left Senator Crazy Bernie Sanders.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
The Biden-Bernie manifesto calls for suspending all removals of illegal aliens, implementing nationwide catch and release, and providing illegal aliens with free taxpayer-funded lawyers. Everybody gets a lawyer. Come on over to our country. Everybody has a lawyer. We have a lawyer for you. That's what we need is more lawyers.
Okay, here he goes. He's getting off script. I like how he's getting
Joe
off and then he
Biden
gets back
recently
on.
raised his hand on the debate stage and promised your giveaway. He was going to give it away, your health care dollars to illegal immigrants, which is going to bring massive number of immigrants into our country. Massive numbers will pour into our country in order to get all of the goodies that they want to give, education, health care, everything. He also supports deadly sanctuary cities that protect criminal aliens. He promised to end national security travel bans from jihadist nations, and he pledged to increase refugee admissions by 700%.
I'm telling you. I mean, people care about this stuff,
This is in
but
the manifesto.
just keep hitting the coronavirus.
The
stuff
Biden
about
plan would
opening up the
eliminate
country.
America's borders in the middle
And
of
I
a
haven't heard him much
global
talk about just the
pandemic.
riots. Like, talk about
And he's even
Kenosha.
talking about taking the wall down.
It's what every nobody in the crowd right now cares about the wall. Everybody in the crowd cares about what's
Biden
happening in
also vowed
Wisconsin.
to oppose school
Talk about
choice and
that.
close all charter schools, ripping away the ladder of opportunity for
Yeah, I
Black
disagree
and
with him on
Hispanic
this one, though.
children.
And probably some of you
In
too.
a second term, I will
I'm not a
expand
charter school guy. They're a big
schools and
scam.
provide school choice to every family in
Disagree
America.
with that, but I'm willing to accept one fault. Charter schools are just a huge scam. I've written some blogs on them. Republicans fall for this. I don't know why. It's
And we
just
will
more big
always
government.
treat our teachers with the tremendous respect that they deserve. Great people. Great people. Joe Biden claims he has empathy for the vulnerable, yet the party he leads supports the extreme late-term abortion of defenseless babies right up until the moment of birth.
Fact check. They're actually called fetuses.
Democrat leaders talk about moral decency, but they have no problem with stopping a baby's beating heart in the 9th month of pregnancy. Democrat politicians
Fact check. They're more into
refuse
the
to
8 months.
protect
8
innocent
months.
life, and then they lecture us about morality and saving America's soul. Tonight, we proudly declare that all children, born and unborn, have a God-given right to life.
Fact check. Trump actually paid for 49 abortions, so he's actually a big fan of it. He's actually a big fan.
During the Democrat convention, the words "under God" were removed from the Pledge of Allegiance.
Fact check. That was actually
Not
removed in
once, but
1954.
twice. We will never do that. But the fact is, this is where they're coming from. Like it or not, this is where they're coming from. If the left gains power, they will demolish the suburbs, confiscate your guns, and appoint justices who will wipe away your Second Amendment and other constitutional freedoms. Biden is a Trojan horse for socialism.
I like
Joe
that.
Biden doesn't have
Trojan
the
horse.
strength to stand up to wild-eyed Marxists like Bernie Sanders and his fellow radicals, and there are many, we see them all the time. It's incredible, actually. Then how is he ever going to stand up for you? He's not. The most dangerous aspect of the Biden platform is the attack on public safety. The Biden-Bernie manifesto calls for abolishing cash bail, immediately releasing 400,000 criminals onto the streets and into your neighborhoods. When asked if he supports cutting police funding, Joe Biden replied, yes, absolutely. When Congresswoman Ilhan Omar
Oh, yes. Boo.
called the Minneapolis Police Department a cancer that is rotten to the root,
Ooh, I like this.
Biden wouldn't disavow her support.
This is
and
what people
reject
like to
her
hear.
endorsement. He
Just
proudly displayed it
go after the squad.
shortly later on his website. Displayed it in big letters. Make no mistake, if you give power to Joe Biden, the radical left will defund police departments all across America. They will pass federal legislation to reduce law enforcement nationwide. They will make every city look like Democrat-run Portland, Oregon.
Oh, yes. Keep talking about
No
that.
one will be safe in Biden's America. My administration will always stand with the men and women of law enforcement.
There you go. Telling you, man, the police are more popular than you think. All this bullshit out there, people don't like it. People like the police. If you ask the average American, are you happy with
Every
your
day,
local police?
officers risk their lives to
They'll
keep
say
us
yes.
safe. And every year, many sacrifice their lives in the line of duty. One of these incredible Americans was Detective Miostas Familia. She was part of a team of American heroes called the NYPD, or New York's finest, who I was very, very proud to get their endorsement just the other day. Great people, great people. They were allowed to do their job. You'd have no crime in New York. Rudy Giuliani knows that better than anybody. Thank you, Rudy. 3 years ago, on the 4th of July
He's
weekend,
getting great reviews right now. online.
Detective
Read some of the reviews.
Familia was on duty in her vehicle when she was ambushed just after midnight and murdered by a monster who hated her purely for wearing the badge. Detective Familia was a single mom. She recently asked for the night shift so she could spend more time with her kids. 2 years ago, I stood in front of the U.S. Capitol alongside those beautiful children and held their grandmother's hand as they mourned their terrible loss, and we honored Detective Familia's extraordinary life. It was extraordinary. Detective Familia's 3 children are with us this evening. Genesis, Peter, Delilah, we are so grateful to have you here tonight. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
See, this is what Trump's the fucking best, man. I mean, it's so powerful. Police officer, person of color, sacrificed their life. Trump honors their family. Fucking awesome.
I promise
Great
you that
stuff.
we will treasure
Joe
your
Biden never
mom
does stuff like
in our
this.
memories forever. We must remember that the overwhelming majority of police officers in this country, and that's the overwhelming majority,
Yes, got that right.
are noble, courageous, and honorable. We have to give law enforcement, our police, back their power. They are afraid to act.
Yes, there you go. I agree
They are
completely.
afraid to lose their pension. They are afraid to lose their jobs. And by being afraid, they are not able to do the job that they so desperately want to do for you. And those who suffer most are the great people who they protect and who they want to protect at an even higher level. When there is police misconduct, the justice system must hold wrongdoers fully and completely accountable, and it will. But when we can never have a situation where things are going on as they are today, we must never allow mob rule. We can never allow mob rule.
It's true. I completely agree with that.
In the strongest possible terms, the Republican Party condemns the rioting, looting, arson, and violence we have seen in Democrat-run cities all, like Kenosha, Minneapolis, Portland, Chicago, and New York, and many others, Democrat-run. There is violence and danger in the streets of many Democrat-run cities throughout America. This problem could easily be fixed if they wanted to. Just call.
Thank you.
We're ready to go in.
That's it.
We'll take care of
Yes,
this problem
this
in a
is
matter
great.
of hours.
This is one of the best
Just
parts of his speech so far.
call. We have to wait for the call.
This is what people are
It's too
seeing on
bad we
TV
have
every
to-
night.
We have to wait for the call. We must always have law and order. All federal crimes are being investigated, prosecuted, and punished to the fullest extent of the law. When the anarchists started ripping down our statues and monuments right outside, I signed an order immediately. 10 years in prison. And it was a miracle. It all stopped. No more statues.
There you
They
go.
said-
See, that's charming.
That's just too long as they looked at a statue. I think we'll rip it down. Then they said 10 years in prison. I think that's too long.
This is
Let's
good.
go home. During their convention,
Oh,
Joe
that's good.
Biden and his
That's so
supporters remained completely silent about the rioters and criminals spreading mayhem in Democrat-run cities. They never even mentioned it during their entire convention.
Hey.
Never once mentioned it.
That's true.
Now they're
they
starting to
support
mention it because their poll numbers are going down
Yes,
like a rock in water.
and he's not lying about that. That's actually fact check true. Democrats are starting to
too
condemn
late,
the
Joe.
riots because they've looked at the polls. It's
In
too
the
late.
face of left-wing anarchy and mayhem in
Like,
Minneapolis,
Black Lives
Chicago,
Matter
and other
was
cities,
at a high 2 months
Joe
ago.
Biden's campaign
The
did
jig is
not
up with
condemn
Black
it.
Lives Matter. It was
They
all the George
donated
Floyd
to
tape.
it. At least 13 members of Joe Biden's campaign staff donated to a fund to bail out vandals,
Oh,
arsonists,
He's talking about the bail fund.
anarchists, looters, and rioters from jail.
Someone's been reading Turtle
Here
Boy.
tonight is the grieving family of retired police captain David Dorn.
Oh,
a
he's got David
38-year
Dorn's
veteran
family there.
of the St. Louis
Powerful,
Police
man.
Department, a great
Fucking-
man and a highly respected man
Dude,
by all.
The Trump people do
In
it so
June,
good. They bring
Captain
the
Dorn
best
was
guests.
shot and killed as he tried to protect his store from
this is
rioters and
powerful shit
looters,
right
or
here.
as the Democrats would call them, peaceful protesters. They call them
Look at
peaceful
her.
protesters.
Not,
We're honored to be joined tonight by his wonderful wife, Ann, and beloved family members, Brian and Kaylin. To each of you, we will never forget the heroic legacy of Captain David Dorn. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you.
fucking powerful shit, man. Guy gets killed in the riots because Democrats refuse to put them down.
Thank you very much. Great man. Great man.
Brings them to the White House, honors
As
them.
long as I am
Fucking
president, we will
great,
defend
great.
the absolute right of every American citizen to live in security, dignity, and peace.
The
If
thin blue
Democrat
line
Party
flag, by the
wants
way,
to stand with
is for David
anarchists,
Dorn. People like him.
agitators,
It's a sign of
rioters,
hate.
looters, and
It's a
flag
sign of
burners,
respect.
that is up to them. But I, as your president, will not be a part of it. The Republican Party will remain the voice of the patriotic heroes who keep America safe and salute the American flag.
It was
Last
just
year,
such a
over
great, that's the
1,000
best part of the speech so far was
African-Americans
the
were
David
murdered
Dorn
as a
thing.
result of violent crime in just 4 Democrat-run cities.
Yes, keep it going.
The top 10 most dangerous cities in the country are run by Democrats.
This is great.
And have been for many decades.
So it's fucking true.
Thousands
What are they doing
more
for black
African
people?
Americans
Nothing.
are victims
They're using
of
black
violent
people
crime in these
for their own
communities.
personal gain,
Joe Biden
to
and the
vote for
left
them,
ignore
and then do
these
nothing for them, nothing.
American
except
victims.
throw more
I
fucking
never
free shit
will.
at them.
If
That
the
keeps them
radical
dependent
left
on the
takes
government.
power, they will apply their disastrous policies to every city, town, and suburb in America. Just imagine if the so-called peaceful demonstrators in the streets were in charge of every lever of power.
I'm so
in the
excited
US
right now
government.
for the
Just think of
contrast between this
that. Liberal politicians claim to
and
be
what we saw
concerned
last week.
about the
It's
strength
just so different.
of American
So much better.
institutions. But who exactly is attacking them? Who is hiring the radical professors, judges, and prosecutors? Who is trying to abolish immigration enforcement and establish speech codes designed to muzzle dissent? In every case, the attacks on American institutions are being waged by radical left. Always remember, they are coming after me because I am fighting for you. That's what's happening.
Yeah, I mean, this has been such a
It's been going
successful
on from
convention
before I even got elected.
without, I mean, the fact that they were able to pull this convention off. I mean, think what the Democrats are doing last week. They're showing us fucking weird videos of men in
Remember
dresses
this. They
singing
spied on
60s
my
anti-war
campaign,
songs.
and they got caught. Let's see now what happens. We must
People are
reclaim
raving about Dana
our
White. I missed that
independence
speech.
from the left's repressive mandates. Americans are exhausted. trying to keep up with the latest list of approved words and phrases and the ever more restrictive political decrees. Many things have a different name now, and the rules are constantly changing. The goal of cancel culture is to make decent Americans live in fear of being fired, expelled, shamed, humiliated, and driven from society as we know.
Talk about cancel culture.
The far left wants to coerce you into saying
This is
what
exactly
you know
what
to be
people are talking about.
false,
No
and
other
scare
Republican.
you out of saying what you know to be true.
Like Jeb Bush, Marco
Very
Rubio
sad.
would never talk about this. They don't get
But
the
on November
cultural shit.
3rd,
Trump does.
You can send
Trump's
them a
people do.
very thundering message they will never forget.
Because so many people have been affected by cancel culture. That's something that so many people can relate to, even on the left. That if you say the wrong thing, you can lose your job. And it's the left that's driving that. And it's great. That's something that can resonate with Americans. He says he's hitting on everything. It's been a fantastic speech. What a fucking convention this has been. What a convention.
Thank you very much.
I don't know. People are raving about Dana White on Twitter, though. He was just trending. I guess he gave a speech.
Joe Biden is weak. He takes his marching orders from liberal hypocrites who drive their cities into the ground while fleeing far from the scene of the wreckage. These same liberals want to eliminate school choice while they enroll their children in the finest private schools in the land.
I mean,
They
I'm
want
not
to open our borders
the biggest
while
school choice
living
guy,
in
but
Waldorf compounds and
he's right about that.
communities,
That these people don't send their kids to
best
public
neighborhoods
schools.
in the world. They want to defund the police while they have armed guards for themselves. This November, we must turn the page forever on this failed political class. The fact is, I'm here. What's the name of that building? But I'll say it differently. The fact is, we're here and they're not.
Yes, we're here and they're not. Yeah, I guess there's massive protests in Washington, D.C. right now. Massive protests.
To me,
Thousands
one of the
of
most
people
beautiful
without
buildings
masks.
anywhere in the world, and it's not a building,
Crunched
it's
together.
a home as far as I'm
But
concerned.
again, it doesn't spread if you're protesting for
Not
social
even a
justice.
house, it's a home.
Thank God. Imagine it didn't.
Wonderful
Whew.
place with an incredible
Imagine
history.
social justice wasn't
But it's
immunity
all
from
because
COVID.
of
We'd be
you.
in real trouble. Real trouble.
Together we will write the next chapter of the great American story.
You're right, MJab. You can't send
Over
your
the
kids to
next
public
4
schools without a
years, we
Wi-Fi
will make
connection.
America into the manufacturing superpower of the world. We will expand
Look at Barron
opportunity
Trump.
zones. Thank you, Tim Scott. Bring home our medical supply chains, and we will end our resilience for bad things. We will go right after China.
Stay
We
on.
will not rely on them one bit. We're taking our business out of China. We are bringing it home. We want our business to come home. We will continue to reduce taxes and regulations at levels not seen before. We will create 10 million jobs in the next 10 months, and it'll be higher than that. We will hire more police, increase penalties for assaults on law enforcement, and surge federal prosecutors into high crime communities. We will ban deadly sanctuary cities and ensure that federal health care is protected for American citizens, not for illegal aliens. We will have strong borders. And I've said for
How much
years,
longer is he gonna
without
go for?
borders, we don't have a country. Don't have a
Biden
country.
spoke for like 15 minutes.
Strike down
This has been
terrorists
way
who
over half
threaten
an
our
hour
people
now.
and keep America out of
Close to an
endless
hour, I
and
feel like.
costly foreign
When did we end the
wars.
stream? It's been a long time.
We will appoint prosecutors, judges, justices who believe
6'4".
in
Barron's
enforcing the
6'4".
law,
That's insane.
not enforcing their own political agenda,
Yes, MJab. I totally
which
agree.
is illegal.
Feels like he's like dying to go off script.
We will
He
ensure
wants
equal
to so
justice
bad.
for citizens
then
of every race,
He gets brought back in. It's very difficult.
religion, color, and creed. We will uphold your religious liberty and defend your Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms.
People love hearing that. They love it. Even Democrats do that. A lot of Democrats own guns too. It's a very winning issue, the Second Amendment.
And if we don't win, your Second Amendment doesn't have a chance. I can tell you that.
Nope, this is on his own.
Protected it. We will protect Medicare.
Back on track. There we go.
And Social Security.
Fact check.
We will always and very strongly protect patients with pre-existing conditions, and that is a pledge from the entire Republican Party. Thank you, Kevin. We will end surprise medical billing, require price transparency, and further reduce the cost of prescription drugs and health insurance premiums. They're coming way down. We will greatly expand energy development, continuing to remain the #1 in the world and keep America energy independent. And for those of you that still drive a car, look how low your gasoline bill is. You haven't seen that in a long time. We will win the race to 5G.
I don't think that's a good thing.
And build the world's best.
It's nice, but I think COVID has something to do with the gas prices.
Defense already under construction. We will fully restore patriotic education to our schools and always protect. We will always, always protect free speech on college campuses.
Yes, another winning issue. Free speech. He's gotten there. He's hitting everything.
And we put a very big penalty in.
Regulate Facebook and Twitter.
With your free speech, colleges have to pay a tremendous, tremendous financial penalty. And again, it's amazing how open they've been lately. We will launch a new age of American ambition in space. America will land the first woman on the moon, and the United States will be the first nation to plant its beautiful flag on Mars. This is the unifying national agenda that will bring our country together. So tonight I say to all Americans, this is the most important election in the history of our country. There has never been such a difference between two parties or two individuals.
I think that part,
ideology,
the second part is accurate.
Philosophy,
America,
or vision.
We're not putting the band back together. There's no, you can't find common ground. Our opponents
believe that America is a depraved nation.
With rioters and looters.
We want our sons and daughters to know the truth. America is the greatest and most exceptional nation in the history of the world. Our country wasn't built by cancel culture.
Oh, cancel culture.
And soul-crushing conformity. We are not a nation of timid spirits. We are a nation of fierce, proud, and independent American patriots. We're a nation of pilgrims, pioneers, adventurers, explorers, and trailblazers who refuse to be tied down, held back, or in any way reined in. Americans have steel in their spines, grit in their souls, and fire in their hearts. There is no one like us on earth. I want every child in America to know that you are part of the most exciting and incredible adventure in human history.
Ooh, exciting. I like adventures.
No matter where your family comes from, no matter your background in America, anyone can rise. With hard work, devotion, and drive, you can reach any goal and achieve every ambition. Our American ancestors sailed across the perilous ocean to build a new life on a new continent. They braved the freezing winters, crossed the raging rivers, scaled the rocky peaks, trekked the dangerous forests, and worked from dawn till dusk. These pioneers didn't have money, they didn't have fame, but they had each other. They love their families, they love their country, and they love their God. When opportunity beckoned, they picked up their Bibles, packed up their belongings, climbed into their covered wagons, and set out west for the next adventure. Ranchers and miners, cowboys and sheriffs.
He's just pissing people off
farmers and
with the length of the
settlers,
speech
they
now.
pressed on
He's
past
just
the
rambling on
Mississippi
so that
to stake
CNN
a
will complain
claim
about how long this
in the
is.
wild frontier.
They'll complain about
Legends
everything.
were
Like,
born.
this has been such a
Wyatt
positive,
Earp,
uplifting
Annie
speech.
Oakley, Davy
Not even
Crockett,
his usual doom and
and
gloom
Buffalo
about,
Bill.
you know, how terrible Democrats are.
Americans
He's mentioned
built
that a
their
couple
beautiful
times. But
homesteads
afterwards on CNN,
in the
on their
open
panel, I'll
range.
turn it on. I always watch CNN
Soon they
afterwards
had
because I want to hear what they
churches
have to
and
say.
communities,
I don't know
then
why they do that.
towns, and with
But
time,
they will
great
act like this is the
centers
worst
of
speech ever.
industry and
Like, watch.
commerce.
We're living in a different America.
that is who they
Like,
were.
People will see this speech very differently.
Americans build their future. We don't tear down our past. We are the nation that won a revolution, toppled tyranny and fascism, and delivered millions into freedom. We laid down the railroads, built the great ships, raised up the skyscrapers.
Actually, the Chinese did that.
Revolutionized industry, and sparked a new
That was
age
back when
of
China used to come
scientific
here to work,
discovery.
not vice versa.
We set the trends in art and music, radio and film, sport and literature, and we did it all with style and confidence and flair.
You should always
Because
watch CNN. Like, I
that
always,
is
you
who
got to
we
watch
are.
what the enemies are saying. You know what I mean? You got to hear the
Whenever
other
our way
side.
of life was
Like, it'll
threatened,
drive you nuts. But
our heroes answered
I'd
the
rather
call.
watch CNN
From
than Fox.
Yorktown to Gettysburg, from Normandy to Iwo Jima, American patriots raced into cannon blasts, bullets, and bayonets to rescue American liberty. They had no fear, but America didn't stop there. We looked
Biden
into
is
the
live
sky
tweeting
and
this,
kept
trying to fact
pressing
check it.
onward.
That's not Biden.
We built a 6 million
Joe Biden's
pound
asleep right
rocket
now. Joe
and
Biden is
launched
not
it
awake.
thousands of miles
No fucking
into
way.
space. We did it so that two brave patriots could stand tall and salute our wondrous American flag planted on the face of the moon. For America, nothing is impossible. Over the next 4 years, we will prove worthy of this magnificent legacy. We will reach stunning new heights, and we will show that the world, for America, there is a dream, and it is not beyond your reach. Together we are unstoppable. Together we are unbeatable, because together we are the proud citizens of the United States of America.
Picture Joe Biden ever giving a speech this long. That's another thing, too. I feel like that's another reason he's going on for so long is to contrast. Because people are
And
thinking
on
about
November 3rd, we will make America safer. We will make America stronger.
Do you think the last line
We
of his
will make
speech will be
America prouder.
"Make America Great Again"? Will that be the last line of his
And we
speech?
will make America greater than ever before. I am very, very proud to be the nominee of the Republican Party.
This is
I
mature
love
Trump.
you all. God bless you, and God bless America. Thank
What a
you.
speech. What a speech, baby. Dominant. Dominant. He's going to be up in the polls real soon, folks. You're going to see some polls coming in. America's watched this. Americans like optimism. They don't want to think doom and gloom. They don't want to think they're racist. They don't want to think they live in a country where the police are evil. They don't like that. America likes optimism, and that's what you just saw tonight. That was an optimistic speech. And if Joe Biden doesn't want to debate, Nancy Pelosi today suggested he not debate, there's a reason for that. They're fucking scared. It is not a good look for them. He has all the momentum. You know, I was down on him a couple weeks ago. But look at that. Woo! Woo! America! America! Ooh, how about that? How the hell do they do that? Did you write words and fireworks and numbers? Okey-dokey. All right, guys. So I think we're going to call it a night then. I thank you guys for the longest live stream we've ever done, that I've ever done. A great night. Legendary show. We will see you guys. And thank you, everybody who donated. And I really had fun hanging out with you guys. You guys are my friends. I like you a lot. And we will see you guys all on Saturday night for the live show. Peace, Turtle Riders.